Okay, there we go. Now, hope everybody's having a wonderful night/day. Let's see here. We are significantly early. We are an hour early, in fact. So, I managed to find a true crime doc that I think I can watch, just generally. Just overall. The other one, we'll have to check that one out. See what's going on with it. The one that you sent. The... Fuck, Riley went live as I was about to press send. Ah. You got a couple of videos as well, Jaeger. Alright, alright. But, yeah. This is from Roanoke Tales. They mainly are known for their Roanoke gaming channel that reviews movies and does like the science behind movies and stuff like that for like horror movies primarily, but they also have a true crime and cryptid and mysteries channel overall. It has a bit of variety to it. I don't watch it very often, but they do have things I haven't seen before, so this will be interesting, I think. What you thought of Kitty video last night? I was asleep. I absolutely loved that kitten video. It was so cute. Oh, I do enjoy cryptids. Yeah. This one is a thing about, based off of the leader was never charged. Some sort of cult or something. I'm not sure. But it's a historical one. He doesn't tend to do, like, modern shit. Like, anything after, like, the year 2000 he's not interested in. But it should be interesting to see what's going on with this one overall. And then we can check out the vid that you sent. Also, I also did say that video was highly fucked up. Yeah, you did. The one that you sent originally. Yeah, it was interesting to see the reaction from my mother when I sent that video to her asking if that one was okay for me to just watch in general, because she watches true crime religiously. And I got a message back within like 5 minutes. And her response was literally just no in capitalization. And then she actually explained it and like, yeah, it was not going to be a good one to watch for me. But Roanoke Tales, they tend to do a pretty good job with this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to press play on this and then we'll check out that other vid that you sent, and we'll see how that one goes as well. All right. Now, you know what? Real quick, let me grab the other TikTok you sent so we have it available. Motherfucker. There we go. Alright, let's get started. The leader was never charged by Roanoke Tales. Let's see what happens with this one.
In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's an island called Fight, part of the...
Oh wait, god damn it. I wasn't meaning to mute Sai, I meant mute tab.
Peaceful, shaped by fishing, farming, and strong religious traditions.
Oh,
but
well.
In 1987, that peaceful life was suddenly broken by a series of events that shocked not only the island,
oh
but
wait,
the
you
entire
can't
region.
see his
in just
model
2 days,
right now. 1
6 people
second.
on Fight were killed in extremely violent ways. Some victims were drowned in the sea. Others were beaten.
Can't see it anyway,
Several were
motherfucker.
burned alive in fires built in front of the village church.
All right.
There was
I'll
no
just shrink
war
myself
taking
down.
place on
That'll
Fight
work.
at that time, so bit concerning. No foreign soldiers arrived, and no natural disaster forced people into this panic. The danger came from inside the community itself. Fear would slowly spread among the islanders, and many began to believe that demons were living among them. As this belief grew stronger, suspicion replaced trust, and religious faith became mixed with terror. So, how could neighbors turn against neighbors in such a small and close community? How could spiritual belief turn into deadly violence? And how could so many people become convinced that killing others was necessary to save their island? Even more disturbing is the fact that years later, some of those involved still believe their actions are completely justified. Today, we're going to look closely at the Fight incident, one of the most unusual and troubling cases of religious hysteria in modern history.
Oh wow, so they went like fully off the reservation in regards to what happened to them. Like, they must have went absolutely fuck wild with that shit. Jesus.
Fight was not just a large island. It was a small coral atoll shaped like a thin ring of land around a quiet lagoon. From above, it would have looked like a tiny green circle floating in a wide blue ocean. In 1987, only about
What's that? I can say it involves a be found deceased in a plastic storage container. Jesus, yeah. That would have gotten me badly. That would have fucked me up hard. So, yeah, probably a good thing I don't watch that one, but damn, that is rough. But yeah,
180 people
see
lived
what's going
there.
on.
Almost everyone knew each other, and families were connected through marriage,
Oh, this is
friendship,
already
shared history,
wait a
fished together, they're friends, drinking on Friday night. Pretty standard stuff, to be honest with you.
Oh no, this is okay. So I know enough history about like cults and shit. Turns out guys who reported her missing wasn't the unaliver. Jesus, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. But I know enough about cults and shit that I know that this specific scenario, this isolation that is being showcased in this bit right here, where he's talking about the island where this all apparently started, is prime real estate for a charismatic individual to come in, put a bunch of ideas into people's heads, and cause absolute hysteria. Like, it can be a religious individual, it can be somebody that's very similar. I'm gonna start a cult around Gep. Well, hopefully it doesn't become too all-encompassing.
With you. There was no airport on the
though.
island at that time. No regular flights came or went, and the only way to travel was by small fishing boats that crossed the ocean to nearby islands. These trips depended on the weather, and sometimes days or even weeks could pass without any visitors whatsoever. Fight felt far away from the rest of the world.
Jasper.
Say that 3 times fast. The island had only one radio telephone to contact Tahiti. It was the community's single link to outside help. If something went wrong, the radio was the only way to ask for assistance. There were no police officers permanently stationed there, and no medical care was really around, and if it was extremely limited. If someone became seriously ill, they often had to wait for transport by boat. For many problems, people still relied on prayer, home remedies, and the guidance of religious leaders, or just basic first aid skills, because that's really all you could fall back on. Faith was the center of life on Fight. Most of the islanders were Roman Catholic, a religion brought by French missionaries long ago. Over time, their Catholic beliefs blended with older Polynesian traditions. The people prayed to the saints, but they also respected spirits connected to nature and their ancestors. Religion was not just something practiced on Sundays, it shaped daily life, their decisions that they would make amongst their family, and really the way that people understood sickness and misfortune. The small white church stood...
Oh, I'm absolutely correct about this. This is prime real estate for some fucked up cult church stuff to happen. Oh no.
The heart of the community. It was where people gathered not only to worship but also to share news and solve disputes. In a place without strong outside authority, the church carried great influence here. Spiritual leaders were trusted deeply, sometimes even more than government officials, which, to be honest with you, listen, I don't trust government officials as far as I can throw them. I don't think anybody should. Church leaders, sometimes they kind of...
I'm gonna be honest. I don't trust either as far as I could throw them. The government currently, I don't trust half as far as I could throw them. And I've heard about too many incidents in regards to churches to be willing to put too much trust into that whole stuff. Honestly, I feel like I'm very anti-authority at this point, but still, yeah, trusting them over the local government is probably not the best bet.
Crossover into the realm of government. I mean, look at, indulgences and the Pope and all that stuff. I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I'm a tambourine shaking Baptist. So when it comes to most of my spiritual leaders, it's like if I don't know them, I don't necessarily trust them just because. Anyways, because Fight was so isolated, new ideas did not arrive often. But when they did, they traveled quickly from house to house. The 14 houses that were there, probably. In a community this close, word would spread fast. When someone shared a story, it did not just stay private for long. And I say 14 houses mainly because it was a really small place. So, in a place this isolated, ideas spread just insanely fast.
Here, the spot that I'm standing faster. Anyway,
far away from Fight, on a larger island of Tahiti, there was a woman named Sylvia Alexandra. During the day, she worked at a hospital help desk, assisting patients with forms and social care paperwork. Her job was pretty ordinary, and the people around her knew her as a quiet worker. But outside of the hospital, Sylvia lived a very different life. She was deeply involved in religious prayer groups and believed she had a special connection with the Holy Spirit. If somebody ever tells you that, you should be very wary. During prayer meetings, she sometimes fell into trances. Let's say, be very wary. Her voice would then change.
Oh, so she went full Prophet of Delphi type situation. And shit went...
She would speak as if the Spirit were guiding her words.
Crazy,
and some people believed these moments were signs of divine power. Sylvia taught a prayer practice she called the Rosary of Tears of Blood. The prayer was based on stories of Virgin Mary appearing and weeping blood. These ideas were unusual.
I'm sorry. The Rosary of Tears of Blood as a prayer ritual. I'm sorry. Right off the bat, that is all sorts of... Damn. Just generally. Jesus Christ, Jasper. I'm trying to talk here, and you are just clinging onto my leg. What the hell? Anyway. Yeah, Tears of Blood sounds fucked. Yeah, that sounds... I'm sorry, if you're going to start making a cult, maybe start a little less cult-sounding than that. That sounds like something that you start telling members that have reached, like, the 5th tier of the cult. You don't make the fucking standard that low. Holy shit. Hey, Gep, you ever had a dream continue from where you left off in the dream from, like, a week earlier? Once or twice. It doesn't happen very often. Sometimes my brain just can't shake that dream and needs to continue the storyline, you know? Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. Usually it's like a reoccurring dream, but sometimes it just, like, advances the plot a bit, you know?
Usual, even if among other religious groups, but still, a small number of followers gathered around her, believing she had the ability to heal the sick and drive out evil spirits. During prayer sessions, Sylvia then would place her hands on people who were ill and call on the Holy Spirit to cure them. Some believed they felt relief afterwards. Others believed they saw miracles happen in front of them. And over time, her followers began calling her Mama Sylvia, a name that showed both respect and trust. However, church authorities in Tahiti were becoming worried. They believed Sylvia's teachings were moving too far away from traditional Catholic practice. They asked her to kind of slow down and bring her prayer meetings under official church guidance. They wanted her to be careful about claiming miracles or spiritual visions. Sylvia refused. She believed she had been given a mission directly from God. She told others that the Holy Spirit was speaking through her and guiding her actions. In her mind, stopping would mean ignoring a divine command. This belief pushed her to travel beyond Tahiti. She wanted to share her message with smaller island communities where people often relied strongly on faith to comfort pretty much themselves entirely and also to heal. On August 3rd, 1987, Sylvia Alexandra set out across the ocean with 2 devoted followers. The boat arrived on the quiet shores of Fight, a place where the spiritual belief was already deeply woven into their daily life. And from that moment that she stepped out onto that island, everything began to change in the worst way possible. They quickly became the center of attention. On a small island where news traveled fast, people gathered to see visitors and listen to their prayers. At first, the meeting seemed unusual, but hopeful. Some islanders believed they were witnessing real spiritual power. Within 3 weeks, nearly half the island's 180 residents were following Mama Sylvia's teachings. The small white church, once led by the elderly catechist, became the main place for her gatherings. The elderly catechist was pushed aside, and Sylvia's group began leading these services instead.
She took over so quickly. She took over half the island so quickly. That is... Oh, damn. Okay. Within a week, she had taken over his church, the elders' church, and functionally kicked him out of it, and had half of the island eating out of the palm of her hand. That's insane. That's like, holy shit, 300 people, bare minimum, that were brought into the fold within a week. That's nuts.
This is what we like to usually call a blossoming cult. It's not a good sign. The prayer meetings grew longer and more intense. Many lasted all night. People sang, cried, and prayed together for hours, asking the Holy Spirit to enter their bodies and remove evil. During these gatherings, talk of demons began to appear more often. First, it sounded like ordinary religious language, but slowly it became more serious and frightening. As the weeks passed, daily life on the island began to change. Children came to school tired after staying awake through night-long prayers. Teachers noticed students struggling to pay attention. Many adults spent most of their time praying instead of working in the coconut groves or fishing in the lagoon. Some people began burning books because they believed the pages carried hidden demonic messages. Those who did not join the prayer sessions were watched carefully. Neighbors began to question one another's faith. Suspicion slowly replaced trust inside of this community. Then, a moment came that made everything worse. A severely disabled man visited Mama Sylvia, hoping she could heal him. Many gathered to watch, and when the healing did not work, Sylvia told the crowd that demons were interfering.
No.
She said she had received a vision. According to her, God was preparing to abandon fight because evil spirits were living among the people. Yeah, okay, so just gonna break in here. That doesn't happen. If you ever hear anybody say that, you should probably just accuse them of having a demon in them and be like,
okay, damn, that is... So instantly, the moment that anything contradicted herself, in the form of that disabled guy going up and being like, hey, you can heal me, right? You have the power of God. And just instantly, like fucking that, she immediately blamed demons, and blamed demons that were living amongst the populace for why she wasn't able to heal him. That is, that is, damn. That is nuts. Okay,
well, that sounds pretty demonic there, brother. You demon? That way you can kind of turn the tables, because like, the Lord does not abandon. That is cringe as hell that she would say that. Anyways, the message frightened many islanders. If demons were already on the island, then anyone could be possessed. Even Mama Sylvia, who they should probably, point the finger at. Soon after sharing this warning, Mama Sylvia then prepared to leave fight because, she needed to get out of there. Before departing, she chose 7 of her most devoted followers to continue her work. She gave each of them a single rose, telling them it would pass her healing power to them. Does that make any sense? No. The 7 disciples then promised to protect the island from evil. At almost the same time, 2 important authority figures were also leaving. The mayor traveled to Tahiti for a meeting of island leaders and fights. Only policemen went with it. Their absence left the small community without strong leadership or outside supervision. By the time Mama Sylvia's boat disappeared across the ocean, the island felt different. Fear and faith were tightly mixed together. The 7 disciples believed they were responsible for saving their home from demons. The island was now spiritually charged and unmonitored, which, if you know anything about humanity, not a great combination. After Mama Sylvia then left the island, the responsibility for protecting fight from evil fell to the 7 disciples that she had chosen. The group would be led by a farmer who believed deeply in Sylvia's message. The disciples saw themselves as guardians of the island, chosen to fight demons they believed were hiding amongst the people. At first, their action looked like just strict religious devotion. They organized long prayer sessions and encouraged everyone to join, but soon their efforts to cleanse the island became more forceful. The disciples began visiting homes across the village, sometimes without permission. They demanded that people pray with them. If someone refused or seemed unwilling, the disciples might shout at them or accuse them of hiding evil spirits. And at that point, you need to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? Pull the weeds from the garden, so to speak. And I'm not talking about the regular people. I'm talking about the people who are very clearly drinking the Kool-Aid. But in some cases, people were beaten for not praying hard enough. Yeah, all of these are red flags.
Oh god, we're only 10 minutes into the video. Fuck. Just, holy shit, dude. It's just... They advanced into full-blown maniacal cult status so quickly. She's not even there anymore. And they're already devolving into full-blown, we're gonna start killing people cult status. That's insane. Oh.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you for the hydrate.
She should look out for it. That means you're in a cult situation. But around this time, some islanders began to say they smelled something strange in the air, a rotten smell like decay. Many believed it was a sign that the demons were nearby. The idea spread quickly from person to person, growing stronger each time it was repeated. Fear moved through the island like a quiet storm. And then the first claims of possession began, which is pretty predictable because everything was reaching a fever pitch. One evening, a 14-year-old boy said that a demon had entered his aunt. The villagers gathered around her inside the church.
No.
They prayed loudly through the night, calling on the Holy Spirit to force the demon out. When the woman became weak and exhausted, the group believed the demon had finally left her body. After that night, more people began to believe that they were possessed. Some were afraid of these strange thoughts or dreams. Others worried that sickness or sadness meant a demon had entered them. Many willingly joined the exorcisms, hoping to be freed from the evil. These rituals grew more intense. People were shouted at, shaken, and forced to endure long hours of prayer. What began as spiritual healing slowly became something harsher and more frightening. Each failed attempt to remove demons only made the believers more certain that evil forces were real and powerful. The island community, once calm and close-knit, was now filled with suspicion and fear. Every unusual behavior, every illness, and every disagreement could be seen as proof of possession. Fear would keep growing, and the disciples felt more pressure to prove that they could defeat the demons that they believed were everywhere. That's got to be a horrifying existence. As fear tightened its grip on fight,
it's extremely terrifying to me, just generally. How quickly the hysteria spread, and how quickly the extremeness of it became more and more potent. Like, they went from normal church community. If you look at the Satanist Bible, it says not to harm children and animals. Oh yeah. That one is honestly hilarious, just generally. It's specifically supposed to be a counter thing for Christianity. And it always makes me laugh seeing stuff from it because they're all like doing charities, doing good work, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, they call it the Satanist Church, the Church of Satan, all that crap. Very funny stuff. But, oh, Jesus. But it is insane to me how quickly they went, like, the timeline for this is measured in weeks. It took them weeks to devolve to the point where they were just out there beating people over perceived demons inside of them, and listening to 14-year-olds that are saying, oh yeah, my mom has a demon in her. Definitely. I definitely believe that. Definitely that. Oh my god.
Began to choose its victims, which is pretty predictable. The violence did not start all at once, though. It grew, step by step, each act making the next one just easier to accept. Basically, the boiling frog theory. It's if you put a frog in a boiling pot of water, it will jump out. But if you put a frog in a room temperature pot of water and then increase about like a degree per hour, it'll just kind of keep accepting the degree temperature change, and then it'll just boil alive. But one of the first targets was the assistant mayor. With the mayor and policemen away, Harris was one of the only remaining authority figures on the island. He publicly told the disciples to stop, which they should have. He didn't warn them what they were doing was wrong. Harrison suffered from an epileptic seizure, really bad timing, and during one episode, villagers claimed they saw the devil in his eyes. To them, his medical condition made him, he's proof he's possessed. The group surrounded him, they wrapped an electrical cord around his neck, and held a crucifix in front of his face, demanding that the demon leave. When nothing changed, they forced oil into his mouth and pushed candles between his lips. How any of this has anything to do with a religious ceremony is beyond me. They then beat him through the night, which I'm pretty sure the Lord wouldn't allow. Later, well, not allow. He'll allow you to be beat. He just, that's not really what he's supposed to be teaching. Later, they then dragged him into the lagoon and dunked him in the water again and again. And finally, he was just outright strangled. His body was burned near the church. Those involved later said they believed that they were saving him by lighting him.
That was the last authority figure they had. Holy shit. And they just mulched him. Just tore through him over an epileptic seizure that he had. Jesus Christ. Oh.
On fire. Then the elderly catechist came, who had once led the island's church. Toto was frail and often confused. Some residents believed he was suffering from dementia. In the days before the killings, he had wandered through the village wearing religious robes and telling people he was Jesus. So now we have two people basically claiming to be Jesus. In calmer times, this might have been seen as harmless behavior of an old man losing his memory, but in an island already filled with fear of demons, his actions were interpreted very differently. The disciples declared that elderly Catechus was possessed. A bonfire was built in front of the church, the same place where people once gathered peacefully for prayer. He was then thrown into the flames. When he did not die immediately, he was then pulled out, tied to a stake, and left under the burning sun. Later, another fire was built around.
I'm sorry. People don't immediately die the moment they're thrown in fire. What the fuck are they on about? That's not how fire works. People scream and writhe in agony for, like, at least a few minutes while that shit's happening. Like, they don't die immediately. It's why a lot of those witch trials were fucked up. Jesus. Yeah, I don't think they knew what they were doing. I'm gonna be honest. They were trying to kill him, and they were finding the most absurd ways to kill people as slowly as possible.
But witnesses said he screamed for several minutes before he finally died.
Yeah,
some reports claimed that a small child had repeated the word burn earlier that day, and this was taken as a sign from God. Okay, again, if you're in these situations, I don't believe that's coming from upstairs.
Jesus
so whether that
Christ,
story is true or not, though, it shows how deeply fear had replaced reason.
Yeah, maybe, I'm gonna be honest here, maybe taking your advice on how you should behave during a, let's call it, religious crisis. Taking your advice from highly impressionable children that have been watching you torture and kill your fellow man. To be honest, probably not the best idea. Probably not. Like, just thought. Just a thought, you know. Just a wee little bit. I don't know.
Soon after, the fear reached into one of the island's most respected families.
Dude.
The mayor's sister had been sick and confused for more than a day, which means she's definitely possessed by demons. She believed, well, she was possessed and then asked for help. Considering they're burning people at the stake, I would not have asked for help. I would have probably just been like, no, I'm totally fine. Her son tried to purify her with seawater. He then forced a spoon into her mouth, believing demons were hiding inside. When she continued to act strangely, he became convinced that she was no longer his mother. He took her to the sea and held her under the water. Witnesses said her final words to him were, "Have courage." When he pulled her out, she was dead. Her body was carried to the church and then burned next. Some later said her son laughed at the flames, shouting for the demon to leave.
Jeez.
The killings did not stop there. Serena's brother-in-law was deeply upset by what had just happened. He tried to confront the disciples and demanded that the violence finally end. Instead of listening, they accused him of being possessed as well. Well, who could have seen this coming? As he was then beaten and taken to the sea and then hung by the neck from a tree, his body was later burned just like the others. Then came another of the mayor's sisters. She was tied to a pole in front of the church. Wood and old tires were stacked around her.
It feels like they really were aiming for that burning bit right there. Like, they seem to really like the burning angle for everybody. Fuck, dude. Jesus.
It was her own brother who then lit the fire. A witness later said she screamed loudly and for a long time before the flames finally overcame her. By now, the violence had become almost routine. The church courtyard, once a place of worship, had turned into a place of execution. In their search for more demons, 4 of the 7 disciples then declared that their own wives were possessed. No conflict of interest there. The women, along with their children, were then tied to stakes in the church courtyard. Tires were piled up around them, and petrol was then poured over the wood. The air smelled of fuel and smoke, and the crowd believed they were moments away from another fire. Then from above, a new sound broke through the chaos. It was the sound of a helicopter. As the crowd prepared to light another fire...
Oh my god. Holy shit. Cavalry arrives just in time to put an end to the madness. That's insane. Right before they were about to kill even more people. Holy shit. Like,
hydrate, you
bastard! Time for
hydrate!
the people that were about to be thrown onto the fucking bonfire. Jesus. Noms on cooked people. Well, unfortunate, but, like, apparently people taste like pork, which is fucked that we apparently know that, but we do, so. Thank you for the hydrate, Jaeger. There we go.
The sound of the helicopter grew louder over it. It circled above the village before landing nearby. The mayor had returned earlier than expected
Who's the
after
mayor?
becoming worried when he could no longer contact the island by radio. With him were a doctor, a priest, and several police officers. What they saw when they
Holy
arrived
shit.
was obviously fairly shocking. In the church courtyard, women and children were tied to wooden stakes. Their clothes were wet with petrol, and the piles of tires and firewood lay at their feet, ready to be lit. Smoke marks covered the ground nearby, showing other fires had already burned. The air still carried the smell of ash and probably people who had been burnt. The doctor
I didn't realize that they were right. They were this close, just killing a bunch of kids and women. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Holy shit. They gotta be honest, they arrived so much in the nick of time, it's not even funny. Like, if it was a movie, people will be saying that them arriving right when that was about to happen would have been like a deus ex machina. That's how on point their timing was. Like, holy shit.
immediately began helping the most distressed villagers. Many people were shouting, crying, and praying loudly. Some seemed confused and frightened, and the doctor gave them a tranquilizer injection to kind of calm them down, considering they were in a complete panic. Slowly, the noise in the courtyard began to fade, and at some point, the police officers moved through the village and secured the rest of the area. They untied the women and children and began arresting the people believed to be leading this violence. One by one, villagers who had taken part in the killings were gathered and questioned. As the investigation continued, the officers then searched the area around the church. Not far away, they discovered a shallow grave. Inside were the burned remains of several victims who had been buried quickly after the fires. The discovery confirmed how serious the situation had become in just a few days. By the end of the operation, around 40 islanders had been detained. After questioning, many people were then charged with taking part in the killings. The 7 disciples and many of their closest followers were amongst them. With the leaders of the violence then removed and medical help now present, the tension on the island slowly began to fade. The long nights of fear and shouting finally had come to an end. The church courtyard, once filled with fire and confusion, became quiet once more. And slowly, the island began to feel more like itself again. In the months after the violence, investigators worked to understand how such events could even happen in such a small community. It took more than 2 years before the accused islanders then would stand trial. And during the court hearings, many of those involved did not deny what they had done. Instead, several claimed they believed the victims had been truly possessed by demons. Their lawyers argued that the islanders had been under some kind of collective delirium, meaning fear and belief had spread so strongly that people could no longer think clearly or independently. The court did not accept this argument as reason to excuse the killings, which they shouldn't have. 6 people had died, and the court required accountability. The leader of the 7 disciples received the longest sentence, more than 10 years in prison. Judges believed he had played a central role in encouraging and organizing this violence. Another islander, who had taken part in the death of his own mother, was sentenced to 10 years, and several others received prison terms between 5 and 10 years, depending on their involvement. Some people who had encouraged the violence but did not directly participate were also given suspended sentences. One important figure was missing from the courtroom, however. Mama Sylvia had already left.
Mama Sylvia, I almost forgot about her amongst all the crazy bullshit that was going on. But, like, she left and made all these people her disciples and all that crap. I completely forgot about her. Because she was off spreading the word, quote unquote, amongst other population centers. Like, what happened with her?
The island before the killings even began, so she was never charged. Later, she said her teachings had been misunderstood and that she had only prayed for the sick. Still, I believe her arrival had started the chain of events that followed. The trial ended, but the questions about responsibility remain. Over time, life on the island slowly returned to normal. The small church where the violence had taken place was repaired and renovated. A memorial was built near the site of the fires to remember those who had died. Years passed, and those who had been sentenced eventually completed their prison terms, and many returned to live on the same island, sometimes only a short distance from the families of their victims. Daily life continued, fishing, farming, and church gatherings, much like before, but one thing had changed. Most people no longer spoke about what had happened. The events of 1987 became something quietly remembered but rarely discussed. Silence became a way for the community to just kind of move forward. So, as always, I like to break in at the end here. Something to understand is that this isn't because it's a small island or, you know, different religious practices or anything like that. This is very human. This is exactly what happens with our species, because for some reason...
like, I clocked what was going to happen to the island pretty quickly based off the way he described what was going on with it. Prime cult. They served the murder sentence. Yeah, yeah. They all served the murder sentence. Except the cult leader. The original lady, Mama Sylvia. She never got charged with anything. Because as far as the court was concerned, she wasn't there when all of it went down. And she technically didn't convince anybody to do anything. But, like, she told them some wild shit. And they extrapolated from there. She was the main cause. I feel like she should have gotten charged. I really feel like they should have. She started the cult. Exactly, yes! She started the whole thing. And yet, they didn't charge her with anything. Like, I'm just baffled. But at the same time, like, how would they charge her? It's just Jesus, you know? Like Charles Manson, as an example. He got charged for all the shit that he got. Was it Charles Manson? I think it was him. Who he got charged with all the deaths that his cult caused. But like he wasn't the one that was doing the killing, you know? But like she gets off scot-free, and her entire excuse is, oh yeah, they misunderstood my teachings. Yes, that is exactly what happened. Damn.
And we are fixated, not just on the social aspect, but on something outside of us. So there's a couple of psychological things at play here. First is when humans don't understand something, our brains like to invent reasons. And this actually goes back to survival just in general, which is the most important thing you can do is just survive. And it kind of reinforces itself. So the first part of that survival mechanism is, let's say your name is Unga and you're in a cave, right? And Uga goes out to hunt and disappears. And you're like, well, he was supposed to go to the mountain pass and he didn't come back. So a couple of months later, Duga now goes out to go hunt, goes to the mountain pass, same issue, right? Eventually, you're going to start to associate that mountain pass with danger. And as you associate the mountain pass with danger, what ends up happening is your brain will start inventing reasons as to what's out there. Now, the reason your brain invents these reasons is essentially when there's danger, your brain is going to go with the worst case scenario of what could be out there. Now, like arguably, it's probably just a saber-toothed cat out there or a failed hunt that ended up taking these two out. But your brain is going to be like, maybe something even worse is out there, some unknown. So because it's an unknown, it's even worse than you could possibly imagine. And because of that, you should warn everybody not to go out there. So by warning everybody not to go out there, congratulations, you may have saved lives. Now, the problem is that can kind of get, I guess, caught up with the other social aspect, which is humans, essentially the way that we work together and the groups that we form when we're trying to help, that can kind of almost become like this self-repeating cycle that becomes wildly out of control if there's not actual authority and control placed upon that system, I guess is the best way to put it. So what ends up happening is this oscillation goes even further and further each time, which is kind of how this is taking place, how it got more and more violent as time went on. So as that happens...
Yeah, as they did one thing, the next thing seemed easier, so on and so forth. It's just, damn, you know? I have a true crime. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it involves a member of my family. The cop was family, I should clarify. Oh, okay. Neat. Well, not necessarily neat because, you know, true crime, but still. They don't have a long video, but here. Oh, thank you. Let me grab that real quick. We can watch that in a moment. Pause that. There we go. Keyword was, Gep. Oh, yeah. I saw the title. Damn. All right, we'll check that out after the video's done then.
What you think you're doing is helping, but you're really actually not, because you're just trying to protect people, but in trying to protect them, you're completely annihilating them. So that issue is actually a survival mechanism that is not overseen and then corrected. The other part of that is the religious aspect. Humans, because we don't understand everything about the world or the universe, anything like that. I personally, I'm part of the God Squad, but some people take it way too far. And this is basically when it becomes cult-like behavior. And this is cult-like behavior. This is absolutely. And if you're like, well, you know, it happened on an island. It could never happen, in a larger area. I mean, look no further than the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
Those were small communities that people started accusing everybody of being witches, and they took out a lot of people as a result. So this is something.
Bullshit.
This isn't endemic to just one specific subsect.
Bullshit about what, Jaeger? Him talking about specifically the cults not happening in larger areas. Yeah, I know for a fact that cults can happen anywhere. It can happen in big places. It can't happen in big places is bullshit. Oh yeah. Like he said outright that it can happen in big places too. The Salem witch trials is a great example that he brought up, because that didn't just take place in Salem. That's a misnomer. The three young ladies that started the Salem witch trials went on tour in Massachusetts at the time and were accusing everybody. It only ended when they accused the governor's wife of being a witch. And the governor just put an end to all of it. Got the militia, got everybody situated, and just freed all the people that were still alive. They killed like 70 plus people before them.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
So like, yeah, it was a big deal back then. That Massachusetts was not back then wasn't a small state, and they spread that shit like wildfire.
Of humanity, it's like all of us are the same in this aspect because we're all the same social creature. So, bit rough on that front. I guess the one takeaway here is it's like you hear about these things and, you read about Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate and this, and you're like, man, how could people be convinced of that? You can. You could absolutely be convinced like this. And that's the thing. It's like everybody likes to believe individually that they would make different choices and that this would be a totally different thing. If I was there, probably not. What is it? It's that Garfield meme. You're not immune to propaganda. Literally that, except you're not immune to religious extremism, because that is how your brain is designed. You're also designed, believe it or not, to fall into groupthink. Basically, groupthink is this kind of what happened here, where you have people acting well outside of what they usually would behave like because the group overall. And the problem is you may not even realize you're doing it. I think over in Europe, there was a dancing disease where people literally were dropping dead because they would not stop dancing because other people were dancing. It's the same concept.
Yeah, the dancing disease thing is really well documented, and it is not great. People died because of that shit. It is fucked. It was, as far as anyone could tell, completely psychosomatic, but they just couldn't stop physically. It's insane to think about. Is like an entire town, I believe, something like that, was just dead because they all starved and weren't able to get any water and shit. It was wild. Cyberpunk 2 is slated for a 2030 release date, y'all. Hey, we have a release date for it. Nice. Yet my video happened 10 years ago. The guy wasn't sentenced to death until 3 years ago. Damn. The government really likes to slow roll that shit. Jesus. Anyway.
Here, like the human brain is
also,
bizarre when it starts linking up with other human brains. So, and I think what kind of gives people maybe a like a false sense of, oh, I would never do this. It's sort of like the society that we have right now. It's very individualized, at least in the West.
Yeah.
We're very disconnected from one another. So we're like, oh, well, that would never take place. But when you experience true connection to a community, bro, I mean, you could resist a little bit. And the best way to resist kind of falling into that pattern is to understand that you are susceptible to that pattern. But even then, you can still fall into that same pattern. There are going to be people who argue in the comments like, well, that would never happen to me. And, I'm built different. You're not. That is the same thinking that actually allows this more easily to propagate, believe it or not. So
Goblin
be aware of your shortcomings and your own vulnerabilities, and then you can actually resist crap like this. But anyhow, that's me on my soapbox. I want to thank you guys.
I have no idea. Also, holy shit, Evelyn Parker's story was fucked. Oh my god, yes. I can't believe you got to that point. But yes, Evelyn Parker's story is so messed up. Like, they go for such hard stories in that game.
For watching.
Like,
If you
holy
enjoyed,
shit.
then please leave a like. It's help get the video out there.
Honestly,
And
I
subscribing
did
is a great way to
enjoy
stay updated
this
when I
quite a
post.
bit, so
I'll drop
I
my Twitter,
will not put a
Discord,
like.
Patreon,
Well,
Instagram, and
enjoy
main
is a
channel
hard
link, which is
word.
Roanoke Gaming.
Hard
if you're interested in
word.
that. But speaking of patrons, I'd like to thank mine
Morbidly
real quick.
curious.
At the literal Wendigo tier, we have Gradius, Monkey Man,
Well, pasta,
Sprungle,
that
and
goddamn-
Victus
yep,
Echo, as well as the
yep,
homeless
yep.
guy in the street. Thank you guys for your awesome support. At the Eyewitness event tier, we have
That's
Beaver Malaga,
fantastic.
Eddie the Yeti, Dragon Master Knight, and Hope Blighton. Thank you guys as well. At the first-hand accounts tier, we have the Soggy Anglerfish, Cidity, and Need Extra Lives. And at the second-hand accounts tier, we have Troy and Pouches. And to the rest of my patrons, I do appreciate y'all's support. It goes a long way
I'm
towards
glad
helping
that
out, so thank
everybody
you.
that was
All right, guys. Well,
involved
that's gonna do it for me. I hope
went to
everyone
jail.
enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the
I
next one.
also feel like there was some things they could have probably done better. As an example, multiple people were saying they don't regret their actions. That's fucked. And of course, the original cult leader lady, Mama Sylvia, never got charged. Jesus. What the fuck? Anyway. That was a good video, but damn. Not yet. I've been doing some side jobs trying to get your stats up. Valid. The Soggy Anglerfish is a hell of a name. Wait, where? What am I looking at? Soggy Anglerfish. Where's that? Not seeing it. Maybe it's... Nope, not there either. You said the Soggy Anglerfish a minute ago. Oh, yeah. Roanoke is notorious online for his deep mistrust and hatred for the anglerfish. So, yeah. Also, I've joined the Pan Am Supremacy Club. Welcome to the club. We do not have meetings. We just all collectively believe in Pan Am Supremacy. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Roanoke Gaming, hell yeah. Yeah, it's pretty damn good. It was pretty damn good. Roanoke, we're watching a Roanoke Tales video. One about a cult that basically was a microcosm situation. They managed to have all the cult stuff happen in like less than a month. So much shit went down. And it was all because the mayor and the police had to go take care of another thing while a cult leader just kind of showed up for a bit, you know? Panem is like Tally, you just can't help but love them. No, that's completely accurate. That's fair. Yep, tell them what your mom said about the video I wanted to watch. Yeah, so I sent the video that Jaeger wanted us to check out. 1 second, let me see here. This one. Cop reaches in a box, loses it when he realizes what's inside.
Hydrate, you bastard!
I sent that
Hydrate!
one because I was curious. Because my mom, she's a true crime buff, right? She watches the hell out of that stuff. And I ended up sending it to her. Thank you, Jaeger. To see if she had seen it before, right? And it turns out, yes, she had seen it before. The immediate response that I got back was no, in big, bold, capital letters. Do not watch it. Because I would be irrationally angry and depressed after viewing it. Motherfucking ads, fuck them. But yes, because the police officer, he discovers a body in that recycling bin right there, and it is a 3-year-old child. And not only would his reaction to that shit have triggered me, the entire situation would have pissed me the hell off. So we ended up not watching that one. Not in that bin? Oh, it wasn't in the recycling bin? Okay. In that case, regardless, still fucked. But, yeah, so we ended up not watching that one, but we do have other ones to watch. So we're going to be watching those as well, so on and so forth. It was a box in the shed on a shelf. Jesus. Not sure why they used the one in the front yard for the thumbnail, but what can you do, I suppose. Still, that's fucked. That's fucked. Regardless, let's see this real quick. You said that this was one of your family members, Jaeger? I've sent a vid to the reaction channel. Hey, all right, yeah, 8 Ranger. I'll go grab that one real quick after we're done watching this. Now, what is the background for this? Trooper Vincent, yeah? Ah, okay. Let's see it then.
That Louisiana State Trooper who was shot in the head by a man during a traffic stop yesterday has died. Authorities now plan to charge the accused shooter, 54-year-old Kevin Daigle, who you see on the screen, with first-degree murder. State police say Trooper Stephen Vincent...
Ads. Okay. Well, I'll wait on that one. Jesus. Poor guy. Fuck, dude. Pause, please. Yeah, I did. That is... Jesus. I might as well... I'm gonna go grab your video real quick, Ranger. Let me grab that real quick. There we go. Pause that. There we go. Daredevil ad followed by sometimes the ads just kind of line up like that, you know? My ad feed is lit tonight. Hell yeah. Nice. Also, I didn't know that Hellboy was happening again. Is there a new Hellboy movie coming out? That feels like something that they have just tried to make work for a while. Hellboy movie upcoming. Let me try upcoming. Hellboy movie. Ha! Oh wait, no, it was it happened in 2024 apparently. Huh. Interesting that you're getting a Hellboy ad right now. And it's not announcing anything new. Weird, though. Weird. Alright, everybody back? Everybody good to go? You're sending a YouTube? Yeah. Alright, let's do this.
Was responding to reports of a reckless driver. When he got to the vehicle in question, troopers say the man behind the wheel, 54-year-old Kevin Daigle, got out of his truck and started firing a shotgun, hitting the officer, Officer Vincent, in the head. Police say Daigle stood over the wounded officer to tell him he was going to die soon. Other drivers stopped the gunman and helped the trooper until paramedics could arrive. He went to the hospital, but that trooper has now died.
Jesus. I'm sorry your family had to go through that, Jaeger. Like, holy shit, dude. Down and then handcuffed him with the trooper's handcuffs. He was already apprehended when the police arrived at the scene. Everything is not always about... Yeah. They had to completely reconstruct his face. Jesus. It was that for Crest starring Hellboy. Oh, okay. I see. Wait. I mean, that's an indication that a Hellboy movie might be coming out, I suppose. That's still fucked, Jaeger. But, like, I'm glad they got justice.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Holy shit, you know. Thank you for the hydrate. There we go. Alright, let's see here.
Stevie, can you read chapter 15?
Miss Johnson, I read chapter 14 the other day. Show basket gut ass on.
Stevie, you didn't read last time. You went home.
I'm not reading the whole chapter.
Stevie, can you pour this 2% milk on my drawers because they smell like yeast? Huh? Stevie, we're waiting.
She want to pour 2% milk on her panties because they smell like yeast.
Jesus Christ.
Get your funky ass over there. Whether you love them or hate them, you're not responsible for other people's feelings. Simple as that.
Excuse me. What the fuck? Stevie, can you come sniff my chair?
What?
Stevie, can you read the book?
She just farted on her chair and told me to sniff it.
Stevie, if you don't read chapter 15, you're
Miss
getting
Johnson,
mad.
I'm not reading
What is
shit.
actually happening?
It's my smoked bird season, this bitch. Read the damn book. Fuck. Miss Johnson, you good?
Stevie, can you massage my neck with honey and whisper konnichiwa in my ear?
I gotta go. I can't.
Stevie, you want some Vaseline? Ow!
What the fuck?
I was wondering if you needed Vaseline.
I'm sorry. This is not the weird girl in class. This girl is only weird because she is clearly going through some stuff mentally. Jesus. that is resulting in her behavior. I'm sorry. Rub honey into my neck and whisper konnichiwa in my ear. What the actual fuck? He's one of my great aunt's side of the family. Damn, I'm sorry your family had to deal with that, fam. I personally never knew him. Ah, yeah, yeah. It's still, like, a tragedy, just generally. Damn, you know? I have no idea where he got this soundbite from, or if he made it up himself, or so on and so forth. Grabs Vaseline over her ass. It was that, though. It was that.
She touched my damn leg.
Stevie, can you just read chapter 15?
Call the ambulance and my mom. Stop
Stevie,
playing.
I just want a hug.
No.
Stevie,
Nah,
can you read
nah.
chapter 15?
That was self-defense. Jesus Christ. Oh. If the United States had weapons.
The secret side of me, I never let you see. I keep it caged, but I can't control it.
I
Stay
mean,
away from me.
not really, no. This is the quote-unquote defensive budget that's going on right now. Christ. Oh my gosh. I knew a chick like this. She was just generally kind of off, like had a screw loose. Yeah. That sounds about right, honestly, but still, damn. The kind of stuff that they were saying on that vid was wild.
Saturday, September 23rd.
Army Rangers smoked in 1989. Okay.
1989. An Army Ranger who had just purchased a home on one of Tacoma, Washington's most gang-infested streets quickly became a witness to various illegal activity happening out front of his home. He wasn't shy of confronting it or notifying the authorities, and soon after, he became the target of one of the most notorious street gangs Washington State has ever seen. And after shaking up the hornet's nest one too many times, his home was ambushed by the Hilltop Crips gang. But not before he invited 15 of his ranger buddies over for a barbecue. 300 rounds, and 10 minutes later, the Crips were fighting for their lives.
Holy shit. That's insane. This story is a master.
In 1989, the neighborhood of
This
Ash.
story is a masterclass in why Crips don't fuck with military members no more. Damn. Okay. So like, this is some wild shit. Okay, let's
Street in
start.
Tacoma, Washington was an open-air drug market. There were several hot spots, and almost every house on the block was an active and thriving trap house. These gang infestations in the 1980s,
Let me
born
adjust.
from the crack epidemic, flooded the streets and created an economic
There we go.
downturn
That's
that
better.
defined the decade. You might remember President Ronald Reagan declaring the war on drugs, or his first lady who was just like, just say no, oh my god. That was this time. Tacoma was Washington State's ground zero of gang activity, and by the summer of 1989, it had grown blatant, middle of the day type shit, like selling crack to the ice cream man type shit. And this was all fueled by an influx of gang members moving in from California. Tacoma police had experienced nothing like it.
It's kind of insane to me how quickly these kinds of activities were able to spread back then. Apparently they're still doing that now, but like, it's kind of insane to just hear and learn about it, you know? Dude, I heard this story long before the video thanks to your gang-related family. Oh, wow. Damn. Me, IRL. All right. We'll check that one out.
And we're really
soon
struggling
enough, then.
to get it under control, oftentimes not even knowing how to respond to it. Ash Street neighbors consistently called police and called 911 repeatedly.
I thought it was mainly the cartels who distributed the crack to America. Kind of. The cartels were really started by the CIA, and then they weren't necessarily cartels at the start. They were more mercenary groups that were given that shit by the CIA by like the literal plane load. And then they learned how to make it themselves, and then it was off to the races, and they started doing all the crazy bullshit. Like, there's a lot, actually, Jesus, there's a lot of drug-related activity that is currently active in the United States that was started elsewhere by the CIA in like the 1950s to 80s. I want to say 1950s to 80s, but it might have been up to the 1990s. I'm not sure. It was a lot, though.
And got nowhere. The typical response from police at the time was very mild. Community-oriented policing was a new thing, such as taking bullshit calls and pretending like it's not bullshit.
Yes, ma'am. I know you can't sleep when the dogs are barking.
But community policing was still viewed with suspicion by veteran cops who came up in the 60s and preferred the old ways, like smacking people in the head with their portable radios. At the time, Tacoma Police Chief Ray Fatelin pushed these new community policing programs so far that the Hilltop Crip Gang rose to power.
When the OGs from Wood like HTC, when we mounted up in the streets 200 deep, when the Park Rangers had a shootout with cats from Ashby, when the Ashleys connected with them Hilltop niggas, had a shootout and chased out from Cali niggas.
Staff Sergeant William
Credit where credit is due. Those were bars, though.
Folk of the 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment, purchased his home on Ash Street in hopes that the neighborhood would soon turn around. To protect that investment, he was determined to help push the drugs and gangs out by any means necessary. Which may seem crazy to most people, but Staff Sergeant Folk was not most people. He was an elite operator who at a moment's notice could hit hard and smash fucking everything. You know, Ranger shit. But violence was the last thing the Staff Sergeant wanted, and he remained optimistic. In the summer of 1989, Folk returned from a December deployment in Panama to find the neighborhood worse than when he left. Along with other neighbors who were honest, hardworking people, he formed a neighborhood group that pressed police, demanding action. The neighbors started making signs.
Damn, so they went like full neighborhood watch to get everything set up and properly protected in the area. I mean, fair enough, damn. Is Snoop a Crip? I think he is. I'm not sure, actually. I think he's like unofficially a member of a lot of groups just because he has a lot of rep. But like, I'm actually unsure. I think he's just like cool with everybody. Like, somehow he even is friends with Martha Stewart, which is insane to me that he can be on a show with Martha Stewart, and of the two of them, he's the only one that hasn't gone to jail. As someone who's hung out with Crips and cartel members, the crack gangs get now is cartel given, but back then most gangs synthesized their own drugs. Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. Also, don't forget this. I will not. Wait, what is it? Oh, I'll find it in a moment then. He is a Crip, but unaffiliated night owls. Oh, okay.
Protesting and taking pictures of the drug dealers. Even as the tension on Ash Street rose, Chief Fatelin made a decision he would later regret. Hamstrung by budget constraints and desperately short on the patrol side, he shifted 4 of 6 officers away from the Hilltop Crime Management Team to launch a community policing pilot project.
Okay.
The neighbors on Ash Street reacted with dismay. Under fire from citizens and the city council, a local Tribune covered the controversy, noting efforts by Ash Street neighbors to monitor the drug activity themselves.
Interesting. Okay.
After the news,
I want to read these headlines real quick.
Themselves.
Group of a dozen neighbors who live in the area South 23rd and Ash Streets said they are on the verge of vigilante action because police have failed to curtail drug dealing around their homes. Shit, dude.
After the News Tribune piece, drug traffic on Ash Street slowed, but only so much. Staff Sergeant Folk was used to seeing more than 100 cars pass through his block on any given day, and after the story appeared, it was down to 20 cars.
Okay.
Folk decided to install a video camera in his
Wait, what?
Hydrate, you bastard!
Thank you for the
Hydrate!
hydrate. He's also a big proprietor of Peace Between Gangs. Most of his concerts are neutral ground. Cool, that's pretty awesome, actually. You know, he streams, right? I did not know that. Ranger did, though. That's neat, though. I know that he's been doing, like, side quests and chilling at basically, like, everything. Wasn't he, like, one of the people that was announcing the Olympics? I think it was either last year or the year before. Why do Crips and Bloods hate each other? I'm not sure. I think it's probably a turf issue or something similar. I think there was something about killings that happened. I can't remember. Oh god, that's gonna bother me. Fuck. But regardless, thank you for the hydrate. There we go. Watching me a Romeo and Juliet type deal. Oh God.
To record the traffic.
You know what? I could see it happening,
as a
but
show of
like I
public
got
unity
nothing.
set for 3 p.m. Saturday, September 23rd. He invited neighbors, friends, ranger buddies, and thought nothing more of it. The day of the barbecue.
Right. I was about to say 100 cars going by their house a day, and then the announcement happens. It goes down to 20. Yeah, no, that's so obvious what was happening there. Jesus. It's a long story, but the Bloods started out as an anti-Crip group. I can send you a video that goes into more detail to avoid terms of service. All right.
A group of Hilltop Crip gangbangers acknowledged Folk outside of his residence and gave him the gun finger. It came from a car full of Crips. Driving by his house, the index finger pointed, thumb up,
It does explain
a little
quite a
flip of
bit.
the hand, and the mouth words, boom, boom.
Except these are military members who don't give a fuck. Describes an act of authority taken without formal prompting from another party. Sua sponte. Okay.
The gangsters saw the video camera on Folk's house, and a few hours later they returned and threw rocks at it. Someone else took shots at the house and the video camera with a BB gun. Folk and a few ranger buddies then walked across the street to confront the out-of-shape, chain-smoking gangbangers who think they're hard. Folk told them to stop throwing things at his home and the neighbors' homes, to stop shooting BBs, and to instead turn their lives around and find better ways. The gangbangers warned him to take the camera out of his window. The gangbangers suggested the staff sergeant didn't know who he was dealing with. The staff sergeant suggested
Oh,
the
God.
gangbangers didn't know who they were dealing with. They then told him, "Your history, bitch," and told him they were going to burn his house down and light him up as soon as the sun goes down. Folk decided to walk
they were
away,
fucked.
and before he returned to his
They
home,
were fucked.
he overheard one of the Crips stating, "I'm gonna shoot that army son of a bitch."
Oh,
Folk then
God.
walked inside his house. He picked up his telephone, called some more of his ranger buddies from the 2nd Ranger Battalion, and invited them over for a barbecue, suggesting it would.
I'm sorry. He invited them out. I'm sorry. At that point, this was just straight up. Yeah, no, we're about to light this bitch up. I'm sorry. A barbecue. Yes, that is definitely what's happening here. There is meat. There is all this food. And also, right next to it is this gun I found. The power of friendship and this gun I found. Oh my God. That is exactly what's happening
hurt
right here.
if
Holy
they came
shit.
armed. With translation, bring your own bullets. Hey guys, let's have a barbecue. Okay, well, yeah, what are we gonna smoke? Just some Crips.
Damn.
Including the few rangers who were already at the barbecue and the rangers called, the total of rangers grew to 15. Folk told them to bring personal weapons and whatever else they had. They came armed to the teeth with handguns, shotguns, and rifles.
Shit.
Folk was armed with a Browning 9mm and a Colt Python 357 Magnum.
Oh,
Fucking
shit.
Magnum. Who's the gangster now, bitch?
Nah, that's some Leon Kennedy nonsense. I already love this guy. Holy shit. Bro had a whole SCOD loadout, yes. And now you see why this situation is a legend in the Crip world. Oh yeah. Like, this is... Damn. Yeah, no wonder they don't fuck with them no more. A Magnum. Fuck. That's the gun that you kill the soul with, for fuck's sakes. Jesus.
Over a couple beers, Folk pitched to his buddies a defensive operation of his home. Stake out locations and wait, no first moves. If police come, disarm immediately, cooperate, and assist. And all of his buddies joyfully agreed and were fucking down. They thought maybe nothing will happen, but if it does, zero tolerance for dudes shooting gats and smoking Swisher Sweets. As the sun went down, the Rangers dispersed into their defensive positions, alert and observant of any and all activity inside and outside the perimeter of the house. A few hours had passed as the Rangers held their positions. One Ranger observed a vehicle approaching in the distance at a slow rate of speed, at which point the vehicle shut off its headlights. Folk, with his Magnum in hand, returned the favor and turned out the lights in his house and in the yard.
Nah, fuck that shit. That is some quiet place bullshit. That would fuck me up. Like, no wonder they talk about this whole situation like it's the boogeyman. Like, damn, Dirty Harry kills the Blue Man Group type shit. Yeah, holy fuck.
9:20 p.m., as the vehicle approached, someone within the vehicle fired a shot into the air. The house was now taking
Not the
fire
Quiet
from the
Place.
rear,
What?
where
Was it
according
the
to
Quiet
police
Place?
reports, small
Or
caliber
was it Keep
automatic
Quiet? I can
gunfire
never
was
remember.
heard. The Rangers
Oh, well.
opened a shit ton of fire, but so did the Hilltop Crips. One of the Rangers, William Edwards, was posted on the front porch. When the shooting started, he hit the ground as a bullet slammed into the wall beside him. He and other Rangers returned fire, seeing figures running amongst parked cars on the other side of the street. Ranger Russell Nolte, posted in the backyard, crawled forward as a shot hit the back of the house 3 feet over his head. Ranger Burr Settles was posted upstairs by the infamous controversial fucking video camera as a shot came through the window. The bullet grazed his head and he received multiple lacerations on his face from the shattered glass.
Damn.
Numerous muzzle flashes were now seen from the east. There were at least 16 shooters in 3 different locations. The Rangers again returned fire, while outside the assailants took cover amongst the parked cars, shooting over their shoulders, ducking down, shooting blindly, stupid shit like that, like gangsters do. At this time, a neighbor taking cover.
I'm sorry, like the shooting blindly shit. Like, all I can think is, did they learn how to shoot guns from movies? Because that's the kind of shit that you see in movies all the time. Like, the shooting blindly stuff never works out well unless you have an overwhelming numbers advantage, which they definitely do not have in the moment.
On her kitchen floor.
Shooting blind only works with large calibers, Lamau. Yeah. Like, if they had automatics, that might work as like a suppression thing, but like they clearly didn't have those, seemingly,
911. And just like the famous Wild West shootout at the OK Corral, it was over in minutes. 10 minutes, to be exact. The first police car came down the middle of the street, cherries and berries on, with his siren.
Honestly, 10 minutes sounds about right, especially with military members fighting against gangsters who were almost untrained with this kind of shit. Like, from the sounds of it, some of them probably haven't even gone to a range before. So,
Blaring. The Rangers dropped their weapons, but as that first patrol car arrived on scene, one of the Hilltop Crip gang members popped a round off, sending the patrol car reversing out of the scene so quickly, smoke was seen coming from the rear tires. Officers in the car reported hearing 50 to 60 shots in less than 1 minute. Shortly after, more cops pulled into the block, and the gangbangers ran.
Police units arrived in the area. Subjects were seen fleeing. Those subjects were pursued, and some caught and detained. Okay. Probably because they ran out of ammo, honestly. It seems like they used up all their ammo trying to attack the Marines. Hey.
The unarmed staff sergeant walked out the back door to his driveway and the alley behind his house. He felt someone behind and didn't fight. A hand shoved his head down and a voice ordered him to the ground. One gang member by the name of Frankie Strickland was cornered by a police canine and found to be in possession of 16 rounds of 9mm. He said he was holding them for a friend but couldn't remember the friend's name. Like a fucking liar. He also said the same thing about the pistol he was carrying. It was for a friend. Another suspect was carrying copper-headed rounds for a gas gun. Once the situation was under control,
Just, wow, they really didn't think through attacking that house. Holy shit. I can guarantee most of those gang members were probably teens who've never gotten into a shootout against people who weren't other gang members. Yeah. Definitely has the feeling of that, and it sounds about right, honestly. Like, it is insane to me, the sheer amount of teen population that gets put into gangs, and the vast majority just start out with just the most fodder of jobs. Like, I guarantee at least one, maybe even like as many as 5 of those gang members, this was supposed to be their initiation bullshit or some crap like that, you know? That is terrifying to think about, honestly.
Officers learned about the Rangers' defensive operation. The responding sergeant of the Tacoma Police Department wasn't too happy about it. He lectured Folk and the other Rangers for not calling the police for assistance until shots were fired, and felt that the situation may have
Like cartels, the next generation is groomed to join by being treated well by older gang members. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's usually how they get you. Treat you nice and everything, then slowly work their way into having you do more and more questionable stuff, at least, just generally. That, yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. Yeah.
been avoided by calling 911 prior to the shooting getting started. Out of what was quite possibly a 35-man gunfight with over 300 rounds shot in the dark, no one was reported to be killed or injured. For 20 years,
I'm gonna be honest, they weren't reported to be injured. We did hear how one guy got his face lacerated by shrapnel and had a bullet graze his head just a little bit ago. That guy just didn't say shit. The fact that nobody was reported dead or injured, though, the injuries make sense. The gangs would be taking care of that shit in-house. They wouldn't be doing much with that. The death thing, that's honestly a little bit surprising, but maybe not that surprising. Still, they did run, basically, as soon as they realized the cops were showing up.
the official version of the shootout held that miraculously no one was hurt, but there were rumors injured gang members did not seek medical attention for obvious reasons, and some may have even been mortally wounded.
Ooh.
And according to Folk himself, during the firefight, one gang member rushed towards Folk's house. I guess he thought he was gonna John Wayne it, Folk remembered. One of the Rangers took aim and hit the gangster in the shoulder. The attacker staggered back and ran away. The moment goes unmentioned in police reports and witness accounts of the time. Unverified gossip holds that the wounded man was treated at a Seattle area hospital, over an hour away from Tacoma.
Damn.
Doug Sutherland, who was mayor at the time.
So they went out of their way to hide the injuries as much as possible from any form of authority. An hour away for a shoulder gunshot wound? Yeah, no. They went out of their way to go over all the way over there so that they wouldn't be suspected as it being from the Tacoma stuff. Still, that is nuts. Oh my god.
Pondered a declaration of a citywide version of martial law to combat the gang violence that immediately drew national attention. The city of Tacoma found the dollars to add more police officers to their department. Then Governor Booth Gardner even considered sending in the National Guard to Ash Street. The Hilltop Crip gang member who was arrested and found in possession of the 9mm and the pistol, Frankie Strickland, was the only man charged in connection with the shootout. He was convicted of second-degree assault and was later sentenced to 22 months in prison.
I'm sorry, what? He got second-degree assault charges. They were firing bullets at a house filled with 15 people. Would it have been any different if they hadn't fought back? Like, what? Oh my god. The military officially considered the incident a matter of self-defense for the off-duty Rangers. That sounds about right.
Military officially considered the incident a matter of self-defense for the off-duty Rangers. On February 9th, 2010, Tacoma Police and FBI launched a major crackdown on the Hilltop Crip gang and charged 32 members with up to 50 crimes, everything from theft to attempted murder and drug sales. A few years back, a Tacoma police officer said something
Actually, no, that's not a lot of guns. Like, I look at that and all I can think is, yeah, I've seen people with gun collections spread out on their lawn that is like as much as 50 times that many guns. So all things considered, that's not a lot, all things considered. Probably a lot of guns without serial numbers, though.
Drug sales. A few years back, a Tacoma police officer said something about the shootout. He said it was the single most important incident in Tacoma that caused a change in police policies and practices. Staff Sergeant William Folk never moved away from Ash Street, and as he predicted, he was never promoted and left the Army in 1993. He still owns the property to this day. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more of these historical crime breakdowns in the works, and you don't want to miss.
Army Rangers smoked some Crips in 1989. Damn. Have you not seen Kentucky Ballistics Demo Ranch and Brandon Harris gun collections? No, that's fair. That's fair. Like, there's some utterly wild gun collections. And the fact that he blows up a gun seemingly like every couple of videos is just hilarious. So, like, he probably has a theoretically much larger collection. I just haven't seen the entire thing because some of them are in the gun graveyard. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yep, 9:20 on the dot. Damn. It has a specific time that it goes for every single time. I've noticed that. 6 ads. Jesus. Is this a 90-second ad break or what? Jesus. 6 ads in 90 seconds? What are they even doing over there? What the fuck? I hope some of those are like 5 seconds long. That's some bullshit. Jesus. We get a look at this. Let's see here. What am I looking at? Okay. Well, let me grab those vids that you sent in real quick. This. Got 2 TikToks. This one. Is there any more? There's also this one. Pause that. No, wait, that's the one that you sent already. Okay. And there was one more, I think. Yes, there it is. What is this? Oh, Kentucky Ballistics. All right. There we go. Okay, I'm here. All right. That was a really good video, Ranger. Like, holy shit. Damn. I am infinitely impressed by simultaneously them being able to get this whole situation sorted out the way they did, but also their restraint, weirdly enough. Because, like, they were Rangers. They were in a house nearby the street. All things considered, they probably could have just killed so many gangers that night, and they didn't. And I'm convinced that they did that on purpose, honestly. Because they could have. They seemingly could have. And yet nobody died. Seemingly. I'm not sure. Because they do mention that there could have been some mortally wounded gangers, but we don't know. That's the thing. And the one with the biggest seeming wound, at least, was the one that got hit in the shoulder. And they lived. So I'm not sure. Regardless, that was a really good pick. That was a really good video. That was really,
I need people to understand that if I text you H-E-H-E, it's not it's
We saw this one yesterday, but it's still funny regardless. Alright, being a kid in the 2010s. Let's see what we got here. I recognize all of this, except for that one at the bottom, actually, right in the middle. I'm unsure what that one is, but I recognize most of this.
Woke up on the right side of the bed. What's up with this Prince song inside my head? Hands up if you're...
Yep. This is about right, honestly. This is about right. Alright, let's see here. The World's Biggest Shotgun Slugs. How Big is Too Big? By Kentucky Ballistics. Alright, let's see what we got here.
Today we're gonna find out how...
Okay. Start off, you are not firing a slug. That is a... Jesus Christ. Hello, Ducky. That is not a slug, Kentucky Ballistics. That is something that was poorly made in Photoshop and that you are holding in your hands right there. Jesus. Oh my gosh. What were you guys playing? What were you doing? Let's see here. And their horns. They came here after playing over at... Oh, it doesn't say. Well, you'll just have to tell us what you guys were doing yourself, Ducky. So what were you guys doing? What were you playing? Hope you guys had a wonderful night. Mimesis. Mimesis? Mimesis? Is that what that is? I need to look this up. I'm curious now. Mimesis. What is mimesis? Oh, okay. Let me see here. Oh, I recognize this game. I've seen a few clips of people playing it. It's very Repo-esque, right? Not Repo. The other game, what was it called? Very fun game where the enemies pretend to be you. Oh, no, that would fuck me up. That would... I've seen mods for Lethal Company that do a similar concept, and it always fucks me up whenever it happens. The fact that the game uses that as the standard gameplay.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you for the hydrate.
How big is too big for a shotgun slug? 808 grains. 1,500 grain 12-gauge slug.
Yeah, the world's biggest shotgun slugs. How big is too big? Yeah, that seems like about right, honestly. I like to defo say probs with 3 to 4 players would be best because it's kind of hard. Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly. Same thing happens with Lethal Company and a bunch of other stuff, too.
Pound lead slug. Oh! 6,100 grains. I think it could blow the gun. Oh! Oh!
Yeesh. Yuckers, whoa, yeah. I think,
What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics.
He might have
this
welded
is a
those
12-gauge
things.
shotgun. It shoots.
I think he might have welded those things together personally. It looks like he got them custom made to even work.
Bird shot, buckshot, and slugs. This is a 12-gauge slug. It is 2 3/4 inches and is 1 ounce. 1 ounce is about the standard weight when it comes to a 12-gauge shotgun slug. But what I want to know is how heavy can you go? How big is too big when it comes to a shotgun slug? Well, today we're going to find out. I have some slugs ranging from very heavy all the way to the equivalent of an eastern gray squirrel in slug form. I am very excited to see what happens, so let's go get set up and get started.
Dude. That's a lot. That is a lot. I didn't realize how much it was going to weigh.
There's gotta be a better way. Oh yeah, there is. Today's sponsor is Onyx Off-Road. Onyx Off-Road is a GPS navigation app built for off-roaders who want to explore with confidence. It shows detailed trail maps with difficulty ratings, terrain info, photos, and user reviews.
This would be useful for my parents. They do go and do hikes fairly often. So, like, I might look this up to see what it's like for them and maybe send the app to them. I'm not sure.
So you know what you're getting into before you even start. You can view public and private land boundaries to avoid trespassing, and the app has a handy-dandy feature that shows you where you are most likely to lose cell service. But have no fear, you can download maps for offline use. Whether you're overlanding, scouting land, or trail riding, Onyx Off-Road helps you plan your route and get home safely. Again, a big thank you to Onyx Off-Road for sponsoring today's video. If you want to check them out, there's a link in the description down below. Now let's get back to it.
I see Kentucky Ballistics. Hello, Ranger. Welcome back. And yes, we are watching Kentucky Ballistics. Specifically, he appears to have maybe invented a Uber slug.
Okay, we are all set up. I have a 6-pound
for his
can
shotgun
of lemon pudding set up downrange. We're going to start out with a 1 ounce 12-gauge slug out of my double barrel 12-gauge shotgun. All right, let's see what happens. Here we go.
Bam! Did y'all hear Demolition Ranch retired? No, I didn't. Though I never really have seen very much of their stuff, so if that makes sense. But still, I imagine that them retiring is kind of fucking people up a bit, huh?
12 gauge slug.
I've heard that they've done a
Recoil
lot,
on that?
just generally.
I mean, it's not that bad, but I'm a horrible judge of recoil. Now we're gonna step it up a little bit. I have a cinder block, and the next slug we will be using is a Brennecke, I think that's how you say it, Magnum Crush 3-inch, 1.5 ounce slug.
Damn.
All right.
He sold his ranch and retired from YouTube. He pulled a Matt Pat. The fact that people are using Matt Pat as a euphemism for a YouTuber just selling off their shit and retiring is kind of wild. But yeah, that basically sums it up. I'm surprised, honestly, but like, I mean, fair enough, I suppose. Still, very, very interesting and kind of odd to hear that, especially considering their pretty long career. Dang it. Went right through that cinder block like it was nothing. Fuck. Powdered that shit.
Okay. That one is definitely kicking a little bit more than the 1 ounce slug. All right. Now, the first slug we shot was a 1 ounce slug, aka 437.5 grains. The second slug we shot was 1.5 ounces, aka 656.25 grains.
Okay.
The next slug that we are going to fire is a 12 gauge slug that weighs 808 grains. So that equals out to just a little over 1.8 ounces. This thing should be kicking real good, and we're gonna see if we can catch it in 15 gallons of water. Let's get this thing loaded up. This is ridiculous. This is really, really big for a 12 gauge.
A bit, yeah. Like absolutely massive.
Because this is Kentucky Ballistics. Better get this one good and snug up against my shoulder.
That's gonna hurt. Ooh. Damn.
Whoa! She be kicking.
It also has a brass casing. That would help. That would help. Oof. Entire body moves with that shit. You could see the recoil traveling through his cheek. Holy crap.
Let's have a look-see here. I don't believe we caught it. This one
that's gone.
is completely blown out.
That's gone.
And we blew through that one.
That one's...
Looks like we may have started to go a little sideways, maybe. Not sure.
Interesting. As
Somebody
plastic most likely wouldn't withstand the pressure and heat.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait. Yep. There's entrance and exit. So we did not catch 808 grain slug, but that's okay because I got some bigger ones to catch.
1 second, let me just...
Okay, we are going to take
that.
some extra precautions with this next one. I really want to catch it. And I don't think we're going to catch this one in water, because if we didn't catch the 808 grain slug in that much water, we're definitely not going to catch this next one. So I'm going to put some body armor on this last jug. So in theory, once it goes through these first two jugs, I think that the body armor should catch it, or at least stop it to where maybe we can find it on the ground. So we've shot a 1 ounce slug, a 1.5 ounce slug, and we just shot a 1.8 ounce slug, which is ridiculous. But this might earn me a spot on ridiculousness. That show got canceled. Shut up, Scooter. Anyways, this is a 1,500 grain 12 gauge slug.
I'm sorry, he's starting to get into some, well, hello, I'm blah blah blah, and welcome to Jackass type energy with how big the slugs are getting. Jesus. I wish I could get my hands on a G11, aka the caseless ammo gun, just so I can offer to let Kentucky and Brad and O'Hara use it, and then on video, I'll need to pull a Cave Johnson. We fire the whole bullet. That's 65% more bullet per bullet. Oh my god. Yeah, the G11 is one of those interesting guns where all I could think is, wow, they made a bit of ammo that doesn't have a case, and it works so well that people in the military were calling it black magic. And the only issue they had with the gun was just how expensive the ammo was, because it was so new. If it had been more inexpensive, they probably would have ended up using it. Didn't Brandon shoot the mini rocket firing gun? I have no idea. The G11 is literally a grandfather clock stuck in a gun shell. That is true, yeah. It was a lot. German engineering is incredibly impressive. Way too complicated. Overcomplicated to hell and back. There's a reason why so many mechanics here in the US just do not want to work on any cars from Germany. Like, you oftentimes you need to send it back to Germany to get it repaired, which is honestly insane to think about. You didn't shoot the gyrojet? Nice, nice.
3.4 ounces, or just a smidge heavier. To my knowledge, this will be the heaviest 12-gauge slug ever fired from the shoulder. Oh, here we go. 1,500 grain slug, 3.4 ounces, going in the tube.
Damn. Damn. It's not designed for the gun. If it wasn't designed for the gun, why does it fit in the gun?
And you want to see more? Hit that subscribe button. Here we go.
I want a Volkswagen bus. No, that's fair. That's fair. It's a pretty cool vehicle. Damn. It just went straight through. It didn't even slow on the first barrel.
My disappointment is immeasurable. I did not really account for a trajectory change with a slug that heavy. I was aiming right here, but
it went high.
Super high. Went through just the top of this, blew this one's top off, and then of course missed the body armor altogether. I think we hit right there, but there's no armor there, so we missed it. I did not catch my one and only 1,500 grain slug. Well, at least we got some heavier slugs to catch, right?
Fair enough, fair enough. Good God.
You just got jammed.
Fair enough, fair enough.
We have
Ooh, getting out the ballistic gel now. Nice, nice. I do not want a VW, no matter my love for the hippie van. I do not trust their history, Lamau. Yeah, that's fair. Honestly, there's a lot of companies that aren't necessarily great history-wise. I saw a video about Ford a few days ago. That one was wild to see, just generally. Might show that video off at some point. It was very interesting. But, like, learning that the Ford car company basically almost started as... Not even started. Within, like, a couple years of it, they almost were a cult in regard to all the bullshit that they were doing. Wait until I send you that video that shows you a chronograph. Shows you what he does to a chronograph. Oh, Raytheon moment. Oh my God, yeah.
Some very heavy slugs from the shoulder thus far, but we are about to step it up into a whole nother weight class. A weight class that definitely should not be fired from the shoulder, and we will be pulling a string in our lead sled.
Oh,
this right here is a gigantic 12-gauge slug that weighs 3,500 grains.
You know he's taking it seriously when he pulls out the sled like that. Holy
8
shit.
8 ounces, aka a half-pound lead slug.
Damn.
From a 12-gauge. So, I have a different 12-gauge that I do not care about as much as my double barrel that we've been using. This is a Pardner 12-gauge single-shot shotgun. We're going to load this giant slug in it, pull a string, and see if the shotgun survives. And if the slug actually makes it out of the end of the barrel, we have 2 16-inch blocks of clear ballistics gel generously donated to us by Clear Ballistics to catch this behemoth. So I've got to be mindful of the distance of the muzzle and the ballistic gel.
Watch the gun itself.
Close,
all right.
That slug will hit the gel before it even leaves the barrel. So we'll scoot it back just a tad. And yeah, that should be good.
Holy fuck. This is going to be concerning.
Half-pound slug going in the chamber.
Half-pound. Fuck. That is a lot. That is a lot.
Okay, safety first.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Pull back the hammer.
Why are you so close to this shit?
Okay. Alright. Okay, here we go.
Alright, let's see
I think it
it.
could blow the gun.
Damn!
Oh! I think we blew through all the gel.
Not. Maybe. Maybe he did that. Jesus, it just goes end over end. Holy fuck. Probably a good thing that they did go through all the way. Jesus. Just gone.
Okay, I didn't strap that down. Got some big old glob of dirt in there. The gun though,
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, it opened.
Oh,
that's tight though. I cannot get that out.
Ooh, that's not good.
I mean, that is lodged in there.
That's not good. Oh.
Barrel is not split. Kind of surprised.
Okay.
I mean, it went fly. Oh, this broke.
Oh, shit.
Broke the trigger guard.
Damn.
Went flying off the table. This lead bag is super heavy. It flew off the...
Damn, it just... It didn't quite obliterate the shotgun, but that shotgun is no longer safe to use. Holy fuck. I swear Raytheon is a war cult. Their weaponry are found on both sides of new warfare, and weapons enthusiasts speak about the company as if they were gods. Yeah. I've heard a little bit about that. From this guy, I can't remember the name off my top of my head. But he does kind of skit where he's speaking as himself, and then he puts on glasses and a hat and speaks as the company from a different viewpoint. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he does talk about Raytheon in one of his videos. And yeah, it basically is. Like, it is wild. Next round, watch the gun in the middle section. Okay.
Oh, look at this gel. All this is so blackened.
Jesus.
And it went perfectly straight through that full block, both blocks.
Holy shit.
And then hit the dirt.
Can you
I'm gonna
find
have
it?
to come over here.
Damn.
And see if I can find it.
Next round, watch the gun in the middle section. Okay. In today's episode of Jackass, can we unjam a shotgun with another shotgun? Oh, I love that guy. His hey, buddy, a seductive hey. Yes, you know the guy I'm talking about. Excellent. I'm still happy my parent contacted me first.
I don't understand how it still has so much energy.
A severe weather system will be moving across the state Sunday afternoon. Wind, hail, tornadoes possible. Stay weather aware. Contact your local forecast. Governor Landry. Jesus. Get fucked, bots. Holy bots. Yeah. 2 bots. By the way, this is from the same person. And I know it's the same person every single fucking time. They've been doing this for like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. It's the same goddamn stream website bullshit for view bots, and it's pissing me off. Be safe? Yeah, be safe, Jaeger. Like, holy shit. But yeah, it's the same people. Like, every time. Might be different accounts, but like, it's consistent. 2 bots, they get banned instantly, and then it's the same message every time. They don't even give a fuck anymore. Like, they're not even bothering trying to hide it.
It's not like it was a half-pound slug or anything.
12 seconds
later. It was
later.
a half-pound,
Okay,
so,
well,
like,
you know,
holy shit. Oh, he lost
I was gonna say, oh, we can't find that one.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Oh, thank you for the hydrate. He's unjamming it with a stick.
That's some high pressures. Okay, well.
Pulling out the hammer. Oh, God. Damn.
That was in there really, really tight. So what that tells me is those pressures were really, really high, and that's not good. Now let's have a good look at this
That's
guy.
actually what you're supposed to do with a jam like that, Gep?
It somehow
okay. That makes sense.
is not cracked or anything.
Our founding fathers, when their muzzle loader gets clogged up. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly.
I can't believe that. Cannot believe that still works.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, this shotgun lives to fight another day. And unfortunately, it has another battle ahead of it. It's time for the grand finale, the Mac Daddy of all shotgun slugs, the biggest shotgun slug to ever exist. This shotgun slug is 12 gauge in a 3-inch shell, and it weighs 6,100 grains, aka just a hair shy of 14 ounces, almost an entire pound. And it looks absolutely ridiculous, doesn't it? This guy almost folded with the last slug. I imagine this...
That is not a slug. That is ordnance. Jesus Christ. He also had a video. He used black powder instead of modern powder, the jam, after like 2 shots. Jesus. That shotgun shell looks like a dangerous adult toy. Ah, yes. Ribbed for their pleasure. Yeah, basically. Oh my gosh. Watch the gun flex, Gep. Oh god.
It's going to do quite a number on this shotgun. And I'm really curious to know if this thing even makes it out of the barrel. And if it does, this time, by golly, we are going to catch it. I
don't think you are, dude. Like, and then that thing looks like it's going to obliterate the table, let alone
so
everything on it.
Through this, hit this, and it should stop it. At least stop it from going deep.
There is a photo of the lead being censored.
A quick reminder about my book, Boom Pow, I'm Braver Now. We are partnered with the Parker Project,
fantastic.
and a portion of every book sold is going to families whose children are fighting cancer. And we have a big goal. We're trying to provide one family rent for an entire year, and we can hit that goal by picking up a book. And if we hit that goal, we're going to destroy my helicopter. There's a link in the description down below. Okay.
I'm so concerned.
Giant slug.
He just
I'm curious if this is even going to fit in here.
He just can't believe
there we go. Oh my
the
goodness.
insanity of what he's about to do.
Wow. Can't believe that fit. All right. I think we are all set.
You just can't help but laugh sometimes with this kind of stuff, you know? Especially when you know it's ridiculous. Ribbed just as John Henry Mosley did. Yes, exactly.
Okay. I think there's a good chance this shotgun goes boom, but only one way to find out.
All right, let's see what happens. Damn!
Oh! That was some hang time. Here we go.
Damn, it just goes flying. Oh, no. Yeah, no, that gun's ruined. It's useless now. Like, it physically bends so much like that. That is curvature. My neck is tingling. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, if I used that shit, I would physically go flying a couple feet.
Kind of disappointed, to be
like,
honest.
holy
I
shit.
figured that would have done it. Oh man, this thing.
Oh, that thing is
looking
broken.
I mean, this right here is moving. I wonder if we broke our stock or something inside. Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, the stock is fucked.
Moving. Let's see if this thing will open.
It opens.
It opens, but it's not popping out.
Yeah, no,
Check
that's
out
not
that
coming
right there.
out.
That is a bulge.
That's stuck in there.
Primer. That is a sign of extreme overpressure. The shotgun's not cracked or anything though. I mean, that is wild. Definitely fired the slug. Got some really good hang time. Our lead sled took
At least everybody's giving you warning, Jaeger.
Off the table. Just
But
about
damn, that's brutal.
Looks like we blew through this gel block. Not surprised. And then we hit. Oh no!
Oh no!
We hit the body armor. And here's the slug. And
oh, they got the slug.
That's quite a sight.
What happened to it?
Look at
Saribot fight me. Oh wow.
Oh my god. Look at this.
I think your slug's a bit warped, dude.
This is.
It's kind of hanging low.
Really, when you look at this thing, it looks like a giant gray shrimp, is what I think when I see this. If you take a close look at our big gray shrimp, you can see that we have some fibers that pressed into the front of that thing when it hit the body armor, and then it just kind of smushed.
Oh no, you don't understand. The Red Guards, they have curved swords, everybody.
and then bent it.
God damn it.
And then
oh my
gave
god,
us
wow.
this giant sea creature that is our 6100 grain slug. Let's take a look at our vest.
Yeah, that would do some damage.
Yeah. Hit it right there.
Damn.
Punched it. Definitely did not even start to make
when
it
she
do
drops
its thing.
down.
And did not make it into the gel either,
Oh,
obviously.
God.
But it provided a really good backstop to stop that giant slug, which I'm really happy about. Because we didn't catch a slug all day long, but that's okay because we caught the most important slug at the very end. I could make a lot of bullets with this. That's almost a pound of lead.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I should go get some cocktail sauce.
Jesus.
That's not moving.
Do you suffer from 160 grain slug
okay.
dysfunction?
Well,
well, you may be entitled to
it's moved a little
compensation.
Just an itty
Up
bitty
ads.
bit.
All right. Let me pause for you guys real quick. It doesn't have much left, but we can wait that out. Let me see here. Let's mess around for a little bit. Let's mess around. Let's see here. I have something around here somewhere. Probably. Let's see here. Alright, that's friends. I don't need friends. At least in this portion. I need the tags. There we go. Idler. What do we got? Hey, Bongo Cat's back. I forgot about that one. Oh, they added achievements and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's neat. Completely forgot I even had that game. That's wild. What do I have that has the most playtime on it? Go by recent activity. Oh yeah, Soda Dungeon's a thing. I kind of forgot about that one. So I got Cookie Clicker. I got a lot of these things, honestly. Which is weird because I hardly ever play them. No idea why I have so many idle games on my list. What can you do? Everybody back? Let's see here. Welcome back. Alright. Let's see how difficult it is to get this damn thing out of there.
Yeah, you know
yes,
what?
I'm back. We are back. Hey,
I'm gonna
nice.
get that out of there. That may just be its permanent new home.
Yep, that thing's stuck. Why is he shooting Why is he shooting the tables? He just likes destroying these things.
Video, let me
He
know
just
your
has some
thoughts
fun. He's
on
just
these
having fun.
Super duper long slugs in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and give it a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Almost got you.
I wonder where he sources all of his tables from.
And don't forget, if
his
you
actual
want to pick up a
pile of
nifty Kentucky
tables.
Ballistics t-shirt, swing over to KentuckyBallistics.com.
Table destruction fetish. Definitely seems like it.
Almost had you.
He's trying to hit the camera right now, it looks like.
Why won't you break?
There you go.
And as always, my name is Scott. Thank you so much for watching Kentucky Ballistics. I'll see you next time.
That was a good one. That was fantastic. World's biggest shotgun. That was a really good one. Let me see here. You just sent in something else, Jaeger. What was that? Here we go. What's this? Hey!
Let's go!
The silliness must continue. I love it. That was a pretty good one. All right, let's see what we have in the... Oh, you got another one? What is this? Crackhead cursed gun images. Oh, this is from 2 months ago. We haven't seen this one before. Nice. That's awesome. All right, all right. I can't think of anything better. All right, then.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cursed Gun Images, one of your most favorite and one of my least favorite videos on the channel. One where I go through some of the internet's most cursed gun images. Some of these are just things I found on the internet. Some of them are submitted directly by you, the viewer, because you love to watch me suffer.
Yes.
I'm your host, Brandon Barbera. Let's get into the Glockenspiel torture. Right out the gate, have you ever wanted to be in a bout of fisticuffs, but also want to shoot squirrels and or injure people? I introduce to you 22 caliber brass knuckles. It's gonna be a long video.
Yeah,
Funny
this
enough,
is going to be a long video
according to
for
the NFA,
him.
this weapon is
I feel like I've seen this image before, but it's still pretty bad. I have more in the chamber for the next time, Lamau. Hey, nice. Yeah. I'm good. Like, sometimes you see a gun and all you can think is, wow, what the hell, guys? It looks like it was beaten into shape with a hammer. It's just... The ingenuity is impressive. It's not going to work very well, ever. Also, I can't see a trigger mechanism on this thing at all, so I'm not sure if it even would work, actually.
technically classified as an AOW or any other weapon. See, look, there's a bunch of weird shit, like as far as disguised firearms that end up on the AOW list. Like, you still have to get an NFA tax stamp, but instead of $200, it's like $5. Already autistically in the weeds. Anyhow, this does bring a whole new meaning to the term brass knuckles. Also, I just love the practical application of this. Implies that if you're going to hit somebody with it, you're going to also shoot the guy directly to your left. Funny enough, that's also how I won my boxing match.
Damn!
Mom, I want Mosin.
Damn! You got that guy good. Shit. I am also going to be submitting my cursed gun for his cursed gun images series. Fair enough. What the fuck am I looking at? Mom, I want Mosin Nagant. We have Mosin Nagant at home. Mosin Nagant at home. I think this would work if it was properly attached to its bottom half. But at the same time, all I can think is that it would just cause so many problems. The Forbidden Foldy Boy Nagant. Yeah, exactly. This feels like somebody customized it to be able to fold. And they might not have done the best job doing it.
We have Mosin Nagant at home. Mosin Nagant at home. Yet, I don't know if this works or not, but this is kind of psychotic. I think the intent is to make this like kind of a takedown rifle. Either that or maybe it's just a meme. But turning a Mosin into something that you use like a pump-action BB gun you had when you were a kid.
Oh my god, that's what it is?
This might be somewhat...
This was somebody's attempt to do a pump-action BB gun type situation? What the fuck?
Functional? Either way,
that's
terminally
so
online.
Weird.
And for the Barbie girl in a Barbie world, we have whatever...
I mean, at least this one would work. Like, at least it would work. Mind you, it looks like a Fortnite skin of the gun in question or something. Or maybe like one of the more cursed Call of Duty skins. Or was it Black Ops? I can never remember which is which now in regards to which one's the one that's doing all the cursed cosmetics. But like, at least it would work.
Whatever this AR-15
which is better than the other two so far.
I think that just marketing things specifically to women by just throwing pink shit on it is already kind of cringe.
I bet, yeah.
Women and like, flamboyantly gay dudes. But that wasn't enough to include it in cursed gun images if it wasn't for the fucking Labubu hanging off the handguard. It's like a Funko Pop, but fucking worse somehow. I don't get it. I don't understand this generation.
I would unironically
6'7",
rock
fuck you.
that pink M4A1 just to annoy people. No, that's completely fair. If you're doing it just to piss people off on purpose, that's valid and hilarious, just generally. It's just, damn, you know? All I can say is, at least it would work. And it would piss off the person that is liable to get shot by it more than just getting shot. Like, they have to explain that to their buddies up above or down below or whatever. And I'd blast Pink Pony Club while shooting it. Hey, nice.
Yeah. Next. Oh boy, that didn't take long. What is it with firearms seized in other countries and like their obsession with plastidip bullshit? This looks like a CZ with leprosy.
What am I looking at right now? Did they coat it in plastic? What the fuck am I looking at? Because it looks normal at first, but that looks like they put it in like they coated it in the plastic that is on the trunk. It's like in the trunk bed of cars, like truck bed liner. That's what it looks like they coated it in. Oh my god, I think they might have just done that. What the fuck?
Oh god, this is from Jamaica. I just saw the top left.
That's so
hey,
weird.
man, why you got... No, I'm not doing that. Honestly, this is probably the best of the improvised guns we have in this lineup. You guys all remember the famous Smith & Methson, right?
Wait, improvised?
Never underestimate the ability of somebody who's high on meth to find the most complicated way of doing something you can buy for $150. There's this one I found recently, which is what appears to be a .22 LR revolver with the signature grip tape, which I have to wonder if this was even ever remotely functional. I see there's that little spring there attached to the barrel, to the hammer that you pull it back. It's got the bones. It might work.
It's
what I'm really concerned about is that
functional.
barrel, which looks real fucking small, even for 22 LR.
Yeah.
Not only that, it looks notably inconsistent and possibly crooked. This whole thing makes a lot more sense when you realize the other details of why
That's a
this
hammer
was
fire,
confiscated.
22?
It was a guy.
Yeah.
Potentially high on meth, impersonating a law enforcement officer, specifically a U.S. Marshal, in what has got to be the most convincing costume I've ever seen.
Oh my god. The fact that the bullets are the only real thing about this cosplay they made for themselves to pretend to be a U.S. Marshal. No, correction. The bullets and the zip ties.
Scene. I really have to admire his optimism for thinking he would get far enough along with that jacket to think that he needed to have a convincing working handgun.
Jesus
and then
Christ.
there's whatever the fuck this is, which, I mean, it looks like a...
This is a Fallout gun. This looks like a syringer Fallout gun. What the fuck? People really have a hard time making 22 caliber pistols, yet I'm making one right now from a few parts from Home Depot. Yo, what? Fair enough. Good on ya. Oh my gosh.
Fairly
that sounds about
straightforward,
right, honestly.
just pull back, fire, 22 caliber. And I understand why a lot of these people just use 22 LR. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's low pressure, very low chance of blowing up, and still potentially fatal. I mean, it's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but I mean, with the AM-180, it was considered less lethal.
Damn.
Which really just means being a cop, less lethal.
Okay, that's a really cool gun. And a really small caliber, and I really want one now. just its drum magazine on the top just looks so goofy and fun to use. You know what? That's just really cool looking, honestly, and I would not mind having that. That's pretty damn cool.
Which really just means being a cop in the 1960s was fucking wild.
A bit, yeah.
Not getting too far off topic, but if I do not see an AM-180 in the new season of Fallout, I'm gonna show my ass. Anyhow, out of all the crackhead guns I've seen, this is probably the one that, in my eyes, looks most likely to work just from an outsider's perspective. That was until I saw the ammunition it was seized with. So you see a couple of different loads in the same box of CCI. You've got, you know, your typical lead projectiles for a 22, a bunch of crimped cases implying that they are blanks, possibly used in the testing to make sure that they could actually set off the rimfire primer. And then you zoom out and you see what I can only describe as 22 caliber thunder.
What the fuck? That is a dagger that's been attached to a 22 long rifle casing. What the fuck? And Twitch, it's perfectly legal in the states of Kansas to make 22 caliber pistols. I have the barrel rifled, and I recently became a licensed gunsmith. Hey, nice on you, Ranger. That's fantastic.
Puff isn't even straight. Like, it's visibly fucking crooked. Does this look normal?
Awesome.
On meth it is.
I mean, yeah.
Is your brain on drugs?
Yeah.
2026. Fresh start, same system. Banks win, you pay. Fees and calls piling up monthly. Unless you fight back. PDS Debt has already helped hundreds of thousands cut their debt and put take back control in 30 seconds. Get your free personalized assessment at pdsdebt.com/bh. That's pdsdebt.com/bh. pdsdebt.com/bh. Also, a big thank you, as always, to the sponsor of the channel, sdi.edu. If you've ever thought about getting your start in gunsmithing and weapons technology, you can check them out using the links down in the description and in the pinned comment. Now, unfortunately, back to Curse shenanigans. Now, this one comes straight from our brothers in the English language, the UK. Turns out a young man has converted a staple gun to be able to fire live cartridges. You may remember this oldie but goodie from Cursed Gun Images.
I remember that one a while back.
Where somebody had converted a staple gun to be able to
You
fire
highly recommend SCI?
rifle.
Sounds like something that people would have to check out just generally. It sounds like they do good work based off what you're saying at the very least. That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good.
Judging by the ruler.
I remember this thing, and that is not great.
The bottom right-hand corner of this photo, I'm assuming it was also a crime when they did it. But apparently a man by the name of Jamie Young in the UK was given a 5-year sentence for doing the same thing.
Nice. Fantastic. Whoa.
Jeez. This is also just telling me that staple guns are apparently alarmingly easy to convert if you have the willpower and, again, potentially meth.
I mean, I can understand, I can see the mechanism for a staple gun to become a normal gun. I can see how they can get to that point. I just want to know how the fuck are these people doing this? Because that's the second time, in England specifically, that it's been done. Which is wild.
Amphetamine. But that's crazy. Converting something off the shelf to be a single-shot weapon and getting 5 years in prison. In the United States, as long as you're not a felon, making your own guns is perfectly legal. That being said, this is also the UK, where if you say a naughty tweet, you also get thrown in prison. Pour one out for the homies stuck behind enemy lines in the UK. We love you. We see you. We are equally embarrassed on your behalf by your government.
Yeah.
Seriously, the free speech stuff is getting fucking bad in the UK right now. What was that one recently where they had, like, the woman who got sexually assaulted by somebody, and then she said a naughty thing about the person who had sexually assaulted her, and then she was the one who got arrested?
That's
fucking insane. I've never been more proud of my ancestors for throwing tea in that harbor. Anyhow, while we're shitting on European countries, let's go to the French. Don't tell Ian I said this, but I still, I haven't put hands on the FAMAS yet. I'm not sure what to feel about it until I do, but I do know a lot of the French rifle enjoyers seem to defend it quite a lot. So for all of you who stan the FAMAS, may I present to you Thomas the Tank Rifle. It's just a shitty FAMAS skin. Look, it's still my opinion the best thing to ever come out of France was Expedition.
That one's rough. That one, yeah, that one's not great. It's a FAMAS, clearly. But, look what they did to my boy. I will not go into detail as to how they do it, but let's just say a staple gun's mechanical guts are strangely close to that of a normal 22 caliber pistol. The fuck? That's so strange. That's so weird. Huh, that explains simultaneously a lot, but also it's concerning, because it sounds like they're making staple guns in the same place they're making 22 caliber pistols.
33. The FAMAS has to earn my love. I will say, however, this does remind me of the original fucking Mac 11 lunchbox, or whatever the fuck that was, the Thomas the Tank Engine, like little clamshell thing with the Mac 11 in it. And if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you already know why I brought that up.
Welcome to corporate America. Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting old, but there's nothing I love more than like shitty early 2000s internet humor. Back before we had AI slop to generate this shit, right? Somebody had to have autism.
I bet.
Respect. This next one is like when you're driving home and you want McDonald's. No, we have McDonald's at home. Well, what if you're driving home and you want an MP7? Well, apparently Poland has an answer for that as well. MP7 at home. Apparently the Polish PM63 was being converted over into a relatively modern submachine gun.
Damn.
Or PDW, however you want to put it. Which looks like a big plastic housing on the front that just, yeah, it's kind of a conversion kit. I mean, fuck, actually half of these look 3D printed. I'm just now seeing the layer lines on the one in the bottom left. Which, look, I can't really talk shit. I mean, before I had MP7, I had MP7 at home. It's cool until you realize it's cope. Cope from it, seethe from it, MP7 arrives all the same. At the end of the day, cope is in the eye of the beholder. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with ghost guns. You know, 80% lowers, whether it be like a Glock or an AR-15, that are made of various different materials. A lot of them are polymer. Some, especially the AR-15s, are aluminum. One that you don't often see is wood. Wood with a bunch of screws and an erector set worth of fucking steel brackets. I don't know what kind of upper that is, but I guarantee it's a PSA. Honestly, just for the meme, I kind of respect it. Especially when you realize...
This is what happens when you max out your fucking pipe weapon in Fallout 4. Like, look at this shit. That is just a pipe weapon. Just entirely. They painted it black, but that is what this is. They definitely took some parts from some other guns to actually turn it into this bullshit. But still, this is just a pipe pistol that's been converted into a pipe rifle.
That the buffer tube and the stock are
the
just
guns I be finding
PVC
in Rust.
Yes. There's no end to that buffer tube. It just keeps going, actually straight up through the plumbing, through the pipes, into the underwater level of Super Mario. On a scale of 1 to dangerous, fuck it, I'd try it. Now this next one looks like a fairly innocuous, just modern carbine. Except
wait. What is... Something's wrong with this. It's cursed, but I can't explain why off the top of my head. I don't have enough gun knowledge to know why. I just have enough gun knowledge to feel that it's cursed for some reason. Why? What the fuck? The longer you look at it, the worse it gets. Yeah. What the fuck am I looking at right now? So, the rail right there. There's 2 different sights on this thing. Two flip-up sights, and one, I'm guessing, some sort of red dot or something similar. Oh my gosh. And then... Oh my gosh, why is the magazine... On a gun this size, I would think that the magazine would be bigger than that. That's strange. The stock looks like it would... Oh wow, Jesus.
Except to a tiny margin of
Let's
you
see
out
how
there
he
that
explains
are
that.
nerds that have played Escape from Tarkov. In which case, if you take a closer look at the receiver, you'll notice it's actually a Keter. You know, that super shitty.
The mag, the handle, the fucking LMG front, the muzzle brake. Yeah, yeah.
Starter,
it's a lot.
Scab,
it's a lot.
Submachine gun you get in that game. Say what you will, when you're barely scraping by, that Keter makes the cheddar. Apparently, some company in Russia, I guess, was turning these into full-on, full-length carbines. Barrel length and everything, a necessity in Russia to be able to sell it to the civilian market without being labeled as a pistol. So in general, that's already kind of cursed. But if you just zoom in on that muzzle brake, I can't let this go.
What the
Ketter's
fuck?
chambered in 9x18 Makarov, typically. That is an obnoxiously large muzzle brake.
That looks like the bullets could potentially ricochet off the muzzle brake or hit the side of the muzzle brake. Why is it so small on the inner portion right there? Like, it looks like the barrel is taller than the muzzle brake itself. What the fuck? And then, yeah, that portion right there. Oh, God.
On top of that, I will
It just gets
never
worse.
understand the Russian fascination. Pull up the inside of like a VSS suppressor.
Whoa.
Okay, I'll never understand
That's
the
a lot.
Russian obsession with just putting bent washers in shit. I do want a Keter. Is it good? I don't know. Probably not. But I just want one of these days. Now to something I
Want
don't
to have, not to use.
When we think about combat rifles, we tend to leave out the combat rifles of our forefathers. It's not all just AR-15 derivatives. There were things that people marched into combat long ago with, like, for example, the Lee Enfield. Saw a bunch of service in World War
that's
I
a good
and II
one.
and was beloved by infantry troops across the globe.
Good reason
and it made it
why.
100 years in the future just for some Redditor to do this. I will never understand the fascination with just putting
Nope. That, yeah, somehow, of all the things, yes, that isn't supposed to be okay, that gun. Yeah, Jesus Christ. So, right off the bat, they completely destroyed the stock, just generally, to replace it with this weird metal fold down stock and all that bullshit. They clearly replaced a bunch of parts. The magazine is fucking crooked. I don't even know what's going on with that one, but it can no longer be used. The bottom half can no longer be used the way it's supposed to be because it's crooked like that. It's a normal fold down? Ah, okay. So they replaced it with a fold down. That makes sense. But still,
I will never understand the fascination with just putting AK underfolders on everything.
This doesn't
okay,
belong
I do
on
kinda
that
understand.
gun.
AK underfolders
Yeah.
are like cheap as fuck. So like if you're just like looking at like trash blasters and like crazy shit, crazy projects to do, I kind of get it. Also, the irony was not lost on me that the only Lee Enfield I have in this room is that one. In my defense, there's historical precedent for that, but we'll get into that later. No, we won't. I got into it before. I made a whole video about it.
The fuck?
Yeah, no, straight up. That's an AK underfolding stock that's affixed to that. You know, AK underfolding stocks, notorious for their great cheek welds. Look, I want to hate it. I really do. The more I look at it, it kind of goes hard. I don't know. You tell me what you think. Cursed or maybe blurst.
Reminds me of a Russian Badger joke. Now, I'm not saying we dropped Crips in front of the Reichstag. Oh, yep. It's a grenade launcher. Like, that's the hood Enfield. Yeah.
Not quite blessed, not quite cursed. It just... Something about this is hitting a funny bone with me. I'm not sure. Do you feel the same? But alas, is it really a Cursed Gun Images episode if you don't have a high point? I still need to make a handguard for it.
That is a pistol that they turned into a rifle using all of that bullshit. Also, I think that's another folding stock back there. Possibly from the same one that we just saw on the other one. Yeah, no, I think that's legitimately the exact same one, or close enough that it doesn't really matter. Yeah, they just turned a pistol into a rifle. What the fuck? That's something I'd buy on COD Mobile.
Spray painted
Yep,
fake
yep.
light on the slide on one side. I'm very curious. The longer I look at this, the more confusing it is.
It is a
Look
bit
at that
confusing.
spring on the barrel. And the fact that this is 45 ACP, but you have like a fucking Walmart hunting scope on top. Looks like the stock at least does collapse, which is, you know, at least that's relatively functional. But man, that stock angle is
Star Wars
absurdly
DG-11
low.
type
Absolutely
shit.
no
Yeah,
cheap
yeah.
weld in sight if you're using that scope. But you know what? Fuck it, it's a high point. These are like the classiest of the meth heads building guns. The aristocracy of the Smith & Messon class, if you will. But at least most of the high point enthusiasts don't have access to a welder, because then things could get really nasty.
True, true.
Drum roll, please.
Wait. Oh god, no.
Ladies
Wait,
and gentlemen.
Pausing. We got 90 seconds for you guys to finish your stuff with that. But in the meantime, I'll put on a idle. Because I do want to watch the last little bit of that with you guys. So, 1 second. I'm going to see if I can't find Bongo Cat. I'm reviving Bongo Cat. Bongo Cat is back, everyone. Bring about Bongo Cat. Yes. Where'd they go? Where's Bongo Cat? There they are. Bongo Cat! Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Let's see here. Let me see if I can scale them up. Up. Apply. Bongo Cat. They're huge now. Gep should just leave Bongo Cat on and just let her leave her live on. Fair enough, fair enough. Let's see here. We got a bunch of stuff. Why can we create lobbies now? That doesn't make any sense.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you for the hydrate. Got a bunch of stuff. Oh wow, they legitimately just gave us a shit ton of things. Ah! Rude! I was assaulted. They attacked me maliciously and without mercy. Alright, we'll just leave that on for a bit. Now let's go back into that. Now let's see what this cursed bullshit is. Ad break finishing now. I'm seeing that. Everybody here now? There we go. He was not joking about that welder. He really wasn't. Yikes.
I don't have a name for it. Best I got is the low point. It seems to be predominantly a PPS 43 with a Thompson foregrip and a high point upper on top, clutched together with what I can only assume is a MIG welder and some JB weld. The PPS with the wood stock does go kind of fucking hard, but not now. Mag weld right below. Oh god, I don't know. There's so many. The question in my mind is always like, does this actually function? And in this case, the answer is, I hope not. I mean, the magwell's in the right place, but I guess just to harken back to an old cursed gun images joke, where to bolt go, though?
I bet, yeah.
I don't see anywhere for it to actually cycle, but either way, this is actually the gun that inspired me to make another one of these videos because it just hurts my fucking retinas. And if I had to see it, then so do you.
Well, thanks for that. Holy shit.
Ugh. Anyhow, I'm about to bleach my fucking eyeballs and recalcify my pineal gland. I appreciate you guys for staying all the way to the end, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video.
Wow.
Thank you, and if I don't see you until then...
That was a lot of cursed bullshit, honestly. Simultaneously
Anyhow,
impressive
I'm about to
and horrifying.
fucking bleach my... Chlamydia, your father's here.
Wow. Just wow. His outro song goes fire. Yep. The fuck happened to Bongo Cat? They changed form! Womp. Alright, let's see what you sent in, Jaeger. What is this?
to play ball so we could ruin them. Mama said that it was okay.
Yep, that is Kakashi, alright. Kakashi would do that, wouldn't he? Oh my gosh. I mean, he does that all the time anyway, so that's about right, honestly. I do this as well. Oh my gosh, wow.
Scientists just crossed a line that should have stayed closed. To me, it's demonic. A petri dish of human brain cells grown on a chip has officially learned to play doomed. They call it the dish brain. It's a hybrid of biology and silicone. And in first instant, to navigate
I got nothing for that.
a
That's just
digital
wild.
hellscape and hunt demons. We weren't just building a computer anymore. We are building a sentience without a soul. If a cluster of a cell can learn to kill in a virtual world, what will happen if we give
I'm
him
proud of the human race
this
now.
Isn't progress. It's a biological nightmare. The abyss is staring
Oh
back.
wow.
Are you watching?
Just wow. I got nothing for that. I really don't. Like, that is some wild shit, just generally. I wonder if I can add that. Nah, I can't. Oh well. That is just absurd to think about. That that's even a thing that people are capable of doing. Ooh.
I was born in screaming stone and baptized in despair. A crown of blood upon my brow, a curse I chose to wear. Centuries stacked like corpses at the foot of who I am. I learned that gods are fragile and prayers rot where they live.
Hey, my favorite song.
They call
Nice.
me hell incarnate with a grin I never fake. I've drunk the wars of nations till the earth itself did shake. Immortal means you learn to savor every shattered scream, for time becomes a playground when death is just a dream. I am the monster who chose the leash. Not out of mercy, not out of mercy, but because true power kneels when it decides to follow will. Not hide my veins so all can see what waits beneath humanity. I am the monster who chose the leash.
Hey, yo.
I've worn 1,000 faces and I burned them all away. A man, a myth, a nightmare stretched across the endless day. The living cling to purpose like it's something they deserve. I tear it from their bodies just to watch their courage swerve. Yet even monsters hunger for a meaning sharp and true, not for forgiveness, not for light.
Do we raid Riley? Sure, why not? We haven't raided them in a hot minute, so we might as well.
That understands my sin, a master who commands me not to lose the beast within. I am the monster who chose the leash. Not out of mercy, not out of peace, but because true power kneels when it decides to follow will.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Ah, rude.
The zealots scream of righteousness with crosses raised in fear, but faith tastes best when soaked in blood and washed in disbelief and tears. I've seen what men become when they pretend there's something more. So
wait, no.
I wear my
No, I did not. Never mind.
damnation like a metal forged in war.
There we go.
If hell is real, then I am proof, not born of flame, but chosen truth.
Just spent 5K to make you hydrate the entire bottle before stream starts. Jesus Christ, that would be awful. Oh my god.
But because restraint is peace, so pull the trigger, shout my name, pretend you've won the fight. I'll rise again through laughter, painted red against the night. For I am what remains when hope and fear both cease, a walking contradiction. The monster who chose the
That was pretty damn good. That was pretty damn good. That was a good one. That was a good song. Shit. Oh. Still have one video for you guys before we rate? Alright, alright. Let's see this video then. What do we got? It's TikTok.
Demon appears. Hello, lover. Oh, look at the blood. Okay, rude. I've never seen this demon before in my life. No, my ex is referring to me. Seriously? You're that surprised. I keep saying I wasn't always a member of the clergy.
I love it.
I took Elvish in school and I fucking hated it. The teacher was like 700 years old and he'd take us on field trips to sit on the banks of a babbling brook and watch the fall of sunlight through the leaves. My friends in Spanish class were like conjugating verbs and shit, and meanwhile I was in an old growth forest being overcome with awe at the sight.
His fucking Elvish class was gonna take 20 years. Oh my god.
Out of a majestic stag. Like, yeah, Mr. Autumnheart.
Wrong
We're not
thing?
gonna learn, like, any grammar.
Was it the wrong thing? Because that's the link you sent. Was it this one? No, we already watched that one.
To the murmur of the wind in the treetops, and you shall find the grammar.
No, the stuff I sent before, I
dude,
said
your
wrong
pedagogy leaves
Oh, okay.
much to be desired. I'd like to think the reason why mages live in towers is just by accident. Mages live in normal houses, but their magic does weird stuff to their home and stretches the house up into a tower. It's also why powerful mages tend to have really big hats and overstretched robes. This could extend to why mages don't wear much armor.
okay.
They'll just stretch and grow and get too heavy to use. A mage's staff is just their first one, but stretched. Please stop asking me about mage penises. Vampire. What do you call the land that meets the sea? May I come in? What was that? What do you call the land that meets the sea? May I come in? Sure? You fool. Zeus. So I'll take the skies. Ooh, I want the sea. Okay, Poseidon gets the sea. And horses.
I do appreciate how different looking Poseidon is in this person's art. I can't remember their name. Punky Doodle? In Punky Doodle's art, than the vast majority of Poseidon art that I see, just generally. Like, the only example I can think of that's as unique to this one compared to, like, all the other ones has gotta be the one where it was from, what are they called? I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but they do a lot of great animatics based around that stuff. Their version of Poseidon was just straight up, like, almost a water demon.
You can have the sea and horses, but that's it. I want a wife. It's not what we're doing here. I want earthquakes. Centaur kneeling on the ground, ripping up bits of grass and eating it. Nearby horse. Nice. Well, it's easy for you to bend over, isn't it? Horse snort. Centaur through a mouthful of grass. Well, good for you, but some of us have two spines.
Yeah.
We're wizard guys. We cast 8 months pregnant. Huh?
Oh, God.
We're wizard guys. We cast 9 months pregnant with twins. Triplets.
Damn.
Demon appears.
Well, alrighty then. All right, so we're gonna head over to Twitch. All of those were really good. Thank you guys for the vids. Those were fantastic. I like the Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief Poseidon. I appreciate him too, but like, he doesn't quite feel like the default Poseidon, but like, he's what you would expect of a modern day Poseidon. You know what I mean? Like the Hawaiian shirt, fishing gear, all that bullshit, so on and so forth. Have a wonderful night, Gep? Yeah, you have a wonderful night too, Ranger. Oh, Jesus Christ. Ow. Alright, you said Riley, so I'm guessing it's uniquely Riley again. Let's see if we can find them real quick. There they are. They're playing Oni. I'm gonna go Romance Pan Am. Ay, nice. Let's see here. There we go. And Control C. Alright. And you have fun, okay? As soon as we raid, I'm gonna go hit my streak and then hop on Sea of Thieves. Alright. /raid. Control V. Alright. Hope everybody has a wonderful night / day. I will see you again next time if you have the time. Tomorrow, because I don't have my cosplay for Prey done yet, we're going to be starting a playthrough in Skyrim where we play as a punch wizard. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So most likely no sleep tonight. Oh, God. But yeah, I hope you all have a fun night. I hope you all enjoy hanging out with Riley. And yeah, I'll see you next time if you have the time. Bye-bye! And I hope everybody on YouTube that may or may not have watched this has a